Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday stream. What we like to do here on the Wednesday stream is we're usually playing Commander games on Magic Online. But every single time a new that's me. I can hear myself. But every single time a new set comes out, I like doing a little internet-friendly tier list of all the new legendary creatures or creatures like cards that can be your commander. And there's actually one legendary creature or legendary card that can be your commander that's not a creature. So that one's included as well. So all these cards, there's 45 of them from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, from the main set, the collector set or the set boosters, and the commander cards. So there's 45 total new options. We're going to go over all of them in one stream and see how they rank against each other. And as usual, this is not going to be a power ranking list or anything like that. It's just what Tomer is personally hyped for. That's it. That's all it is. If you're looking for like a power ranking thingy, then you probably want to be looking at a CDH stream. They're going to be focusing on how powerful a commander truly is in the format when pushed to its limits. I don't really care about that sort of stuff. I'm just focusing on what cards I'm most excited to be playing in Commander, the ones that I want to immediately start brewing around. So that's where we're gonna be. Rank on. Shrines S tier? Yeah. Maybe. We'll find out together. Let me just quickly post that we are live. So let us post on the MTG Goldfish page. So we're going to be on the front page now. And let's post on Twitter. Tweet that out. All right, we're golden. Everybody. Gundams, baby. It's a Gundam. I mean, there's certainly some cards here that are more hyped than others. There are 45 cards, though, so there's going to be quite a few that we're going to have to be jumping through. So we're going to be actually looking at every single card through Scryfall, just because you can see a bigger version of it. We can see the Oracle text. It's going to be a lot easier to kind of parse it out. And we'll go through all 45 of them and place them all on this handy-dandy list. We'll get to the shrines first. I'm going to be going in alphabetical order, I think. And all the shrines, as you can see, they're all Go Shintais. So we'll get to them really soon. So first off, we got a cycle of mythic dragon spirits. All of them are monocolor, one for each color, and all of them have a death trigger. So whenever one of them dies, you get to choose between two beneficial effects. The first one is Ao, the Dawn Sky. This is the white legendary dragon spirit. Flying Visions for 5 mana, 5/4. When it dies, you choose one. You either look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest of them at the bottom of your library in any order, or you put +1/+1 counters on each permanent or you control that's a creature or vehicle. As a commander, I'm not really feeling this one too much. I think this is a really cool card in the 99, and this card kind of screams to me. A lot of the Dragon Spirits scream to me, but this one also screams to me combo potential. Like usually when I'm looking at these cards, I'm thinking like, all right, so I'm gonna have like an Ashnod's Altar in play. I'm gonna sacrifice the AO for 2 mana, and then what does that give me? What else can I do with this? The payoff here is mostly, I think, the first trigger where you get to look pretty deep, 7 cards deep into your library, and you're getting value out of it. It's kind of like a collective company type effect. I don't know if this is like something you can truly infinite super easily with like less than like 3 cards or something, but the potential is definitely there. It does seem like a good value card. But I would prefer it more in the 99. And we can also check out, We can check out its also alt art. The alt art's pretty darn sweet. And then it's got an extended art. So, as a commander, I'm not too hyped about it, but I do think it's pretty neat. And where are you even? AO. There you are. As a commander, that's like a C. I'd build it, but like, yeah. This tier list is definitely for as a commander, though. So I'll mention that it's in the 99, but, you know. We'll also go over what the cards do. All right. The second one, though, I would think is... I would think this one is the strongest commander potential and probably the strongest of the Dragon Spirit cycle in terms of commander, in terms of power stuff. Atsushi the Blazing Sky. So this is also a Dragon Spirit, Flying Trample, 4 mana for a 4/4. This one, when it dies, you get to choose between either making 3 treasure tokens or exiling the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. This one is exciting for multiple reasons. In the 99, I think this card is pretty darn fantastic in a bunch of decks. Basically, any like Rakdos shell that's like sacrifice heavy, I think it's going to be really, really fun. People are mentioning Prosper, and that's like another one that is also going to be nice. Prosper is generally not a sacrifice deck, but it is definitely a Exile Matters deck. It likes tokens. It likes treasure tokens because it makes them, and it likes casting spells from exile because that lets you make tokens. So Atsushi does both, depending on what you want on your board state. If you want to cast stuff from exile, you can do that with Atsushi's first ability. If you want to just make treasure tokens for whatever, you can make it that way as well. It's also just really good in basically any sacrifice shell that just wants basically to sacrifice this on demand to make treasure tokens or to make card advantage. But as a commander, I think this one is probably the most exciting because it leads directly into an infinite combo that just straight up wins you the game. So the way this combo works, you have to take Atsushi, and then you take a way to sacrifice it repeatedly while generating mana. And the best way to do that is Ashnod's Altar. Ashnod's Altar, for people who don't know, the altar says you can sacrifice a creature to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. And the third card that you need for this combo to work is Nim Deathmantle. Nim Deathmantle says, it has a bunch of text and equipment, but the main part that is important for us is whenever a non-token creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 4 mana. If you do, you return that card to the battlefield and attach Nim Deathmantle to it. So the way this combo works, I've done a short on this, by the way, so you can find it visually explained on the channel as well. The way you do this is you sacrifice Atsushi to the Ashnod's Altar. That will generate 2 colorless mana. When Atsushi dies, you get 2 triggers. You get the Nim Deathmantle trigger and you get the Atsushi trigger. You're going to allow the Atsushi trigger to happen first, and you're going to create 3 treasure tokens. So now you have 2 colorless mana and 3 treasure tokens on the battlefield. Then you allow the Nim Deathmantle trigger to resolve, where if you pay 4 mana, you can return the creature back to the battlefield with Nim Deathmantle attached to it. So you use the 2 mana from Ashnod's Altar, and then you use 2 of the 3 treasure tokens generated by Atsushi to return Atsushi to the battlefield. This yields a net of 1 treasure token each time you perform this loop. And you can perform this infinite times for infinite treasure tokens. Once you have infinite treasure tokens, you have infinite mana of any color. And then what you can start doing is you can start spending that infinite mana to repeat the loop, but this time, instead of choosing to make treasure tokens, you're going to be exiling the top 2 cards of your library. And you can do this infinite times. You can exile your entire library with infinite mana. So whatever you have in your deck at that point, there has to be something that you could win the game with. One of the easiest ways is there's a 2 mana enchantment. Deal 1 damage to each opponent whenever a creature enters the battlefield. I don't remember the name of it. There's a couple. There's like Outpost Siege, but there's other ways of doing it. Like if you have Outpost Siege on the battlefield, you can like cast Outpost Siege, and then whenever a creature leaves the battlefield, it deals damage to each target. Yeah, Impact Tremors. So this one works. Impact Tremors also works. And the beauty of this combo is you don't actually need the Impact Tremors. You don't need the Outpost Siege in your hand or on the battlefield. It can just be in your library somewhere. And Sushi allows you to play this combo. It's a 3-card combo. It allows you to play your entire library for free and have infinite mana. So if Atsushi's in your command zone, all you need to do is you need to find the Astronaut's Altar and the Nim Death Mantle, and you can perform this combo. So it's a 3-card combo, but one of the cards is in your command zone, which is pretty darn good. And yeah, as Corella's saying, all these cards are pretty legitimate on their own. Like Atsushi is just a legitimate card by itself. It's a good value card. It's very easy to generate value out of Astronaut's Altar, even if you're using it fairly. And same goes for Nim Death Mantle. So in terms of like, if I had to pick one of these Dragon Spirits to be my commander, it'd probably be Atsushi, because at least that way you're using a combo like based on your commander, and that's kind of exciting. Not my favorite though. I feel like once you perform that a couple of times, or at least for me, if I perform that a couple times, I'd probably get bored of it pretty quick. But because it does have a unique gimmick to it, and the card is pretty darn sweet, even in the 99, I'm gonna give it a solid B. I feel like I could, it maybe even an A, but like I feel like this is a deck that I would like to do once or twice, maybe on a Commander Clash, and then I probably wouldn't do it much more than that. But solid B as a commander. Probably an A or something if I was ranking it as part of the 99. Next up. Oh no. What did I do? There we go. Wait, no. There we go. No, wait. Is commander. That's what I wanted to do. Is commander. Boop. There we go. All right, this is good. All right, but now we get to some of the spice. Or actually, let's just finish the dragon cycle first. I think we start a cycle, we end that cycle. So we did the first two. We did the white one. We did the red one. Now we're going to work our way down to the black one, which is Junji, the Midnight Sky. And this one, I actually am not too familiar with it. I'm going to be reading it for the first time, essentially. This is a black dragon spirit, 5 mana for a 5/5 flying menace. And when it dies, you get to choose either to have each opponent discard 2 cards and lose 2 life, or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I have to imagine there's a combo here where you can return a non-dragon creature to the battlefield, gain something out of that, and also return Junji also to the battlefield and repeat it or something. Wait, no, I already figured it out. All right, well, what about like Disciple of Bolas? What about Disciple of Bolas? Like you could, wait, no, that wouldn't work. Never mind. Yeah, clones would work. Yeah, clones would work. All right, I was thinking Disciple of Bolas because then it would like draw infinite. Like I was thinking like you can return Disciple of Bolas to the battlefield, then sacrifice Junji, draw 5 cards, gain 5 life, but that doesn't really work. So yeah, clones would work. If you clone Junji with any sort of clone effect, then Junji would enter the battlefield. Junji would return the clone back to the battlefield, and no, then you put target non-creature. How does this work actually? Legendary rule in full effect? There has to be something here, right? I'm late, dragon time? Yeah, we're doing the dragon cycle first and foremost. How do we break this card, chat? Explain it, because I'm a dum-dum. I think, didn't Seth do like a thingy on this? I feel like Seth did a thingy on this. You can, but you also lose all your life. Yeah. How did we win with it though? All right, we could do okay. So body double works, right? Body double works, right? So you sacrifice Junji, I think somehow, and you bring back body double. And when body double enters the battlefield, it can copy a creature card in the graveyard, and we have Junji in the graveyard, so we can copy Junji, and then we can sacrifice it again to return the original Junji and do that infinite times. But like, that doesn't win. There has to be a better way to break this. You would need a Blood Artist and a Zulaport Cutthroat to just negate the fact that you're losing 2 life each time. Can't return the dragon. Oh, you can't return the dragon with body double. That's right. So apparently clones work. Clone Junji, sack clone, repeat. Oh, you could you could return the okay, I get it. Okay, so you could return the clone itself. Okay. So you have Junji on the battlefield and you clone it, right? You clone it with clone. When clone enters the battlefield as Junji, the legend rule applies. You can only have one of the same named legendary on the battlefield. So you decide to keep the original Junji on the battlefield and you sacrifice the clone Junji. When the clone Junji goes into the graveyard, it's already in the graveyard, and the death trigger goes on the stack. This part, the put target non-dragon creature card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It can target the clone Junji when it dies. It can target itself in the graveyard and return itself back to the battlefield and repeat that infinite time. So the clone Junji will enter the battlefield as Junji again. It will sacrifice you to the legend rule. It will return itself back into play. But then you're losing 2 life each time you do this, and you need still some way to actually win. And you would need you can negate it, but you would need 2 of these effects, like Blood Artist, right? Blood Artist says you gain 1 life each time a creature dies and somebody loses 1 life. But you need 2 of those. So that's like 4. That's 4 pieces of a combo that you would need. Okay, so this was probably a little bit harder. That's neat, yes. Yeah. All right, it's neat. Do I want this as the commander? Probably not. Also, you need clones for this to work, it seems like. So, not really good as a commander. I'll put that as a C. All right, we'll move on. All right, this one though, I know there's infinites in its color. I just don't remember what it was. All right, we're moving on. Kyrie, the Swirling Sky. This is the blue mythic dragon spirit. So this is 6 mana, 6/6, flying, ward 3. When it dies, you choose one. Either return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hands, or you can mill 6 cards, then return up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah. This one seems more easy to break, right? Right? If you could return, if you have enough mana, if you have enough mana for this, you could literally just mill yourself, returning an extra turn spell every single time you do it. So yeah, with a clone, that works pretty well. So what would be the easiest way? Is Glasspool Mimic is a creature. What's like the cheapest? What's the cheapest copy your own creature? I think it's like Cackling Counterpart. I think 3 is the cheapest. I'm not sure if there's a cheaper way of cloning your own creature. I think Cackling Counterpart is the cheapest. Mirror Image? You need it to be a sorcerer at instant though, because you want to return the sorcerer or instant with Kyrie's ability. So if you copy like a phantasmal image, you can't repeat the loop. You would need a way to like a blue instant or sorcery to return Kyrie from the graveyard, which is probably not good. So we'll just say Kyrie plus like a time warp. You know, you get a time warp effect, something that doesn't exile after it's gone, and then you get like a cackling counterpart, something like that. Yeah, yeah, that seems pretty easy. Pretty easy. Play it alongside Ovar and everything works. That's true. That is true. All right. Well, that was pretty easy to break. I'm going to put this in the same category as I put at Sushi, where I think it's a novel as a commander, but not something I would want to do more than once. This is definitely like a gimmick where I'm like, all right, I did it. I've shown what this commander does, and then I never play it again. So that's what B is for me at this point. B is I will play once. You know what? I'll just call it this. I will play it once. C is not good as commander. And D is doo-doo. And then A would be like, I would play it often. I would add it to my personal collection. How about that? That seems fair. That seems fair. Or not good as a commander is uncharitable, I would say. I'd say I want to play it as my commander. There we go. All right. So we got through, was there any other one? Oh yeah, there's Korra. The last one, the green one. Korra, the Boundless Sky. This is a legendary creature, dragon spirit. The last one, the green one. This is a 5-mana 4/4. Oddly enough, the green one, a 5-mana 4/4, just seems weird to me. That this, like, you would think it would be like, because it's a green one, it would be like a 5-mana 8/8, right? Like, is it the smallest of all the dragons? This is a 5-mana 5/5. This is a 4-mana 4/4. This is a 5-mana 5/4. This is a 6-mana 6/6. This is a 5-mana 4/4. What happened here? Oh yeah, green doesn't fly good. I guess that's fair, I guess. I think green should be able to fly. I think green should be able to. That's my hot take. Green already does everything, so why wouldn't it fly very efficiently? It already has haste. It already has death touch, indestructible, hexproof. Draws more cards than everybody else. Can't be countered. Why is flying off the table all of a sudden? why? Yeah, like just give it flying. And it should have flying and reach to kind of send the message, you know? It should have both flying and reach. That's what it should have. Anyway, onto the card. So flying death touch, when it dies, you get to choose to either search your library for up to 3 lane cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle, or create an XX green spear creature token where X is the number of lands you control. This one, I don't think it has easy combo potential as a commander. Like, it does put 3 lands into your hand, and I'm sure you can discard those lands or something for value, but I don't know how to break. I don't know how to break this as a combo deck. But I think this is a really good card in the 99. It's essentially like, what's it called? What's the card? It's like 2-mana sorcery, search your library for a land, put it into your hand. Sylvan Scrying, I think. Sylvan Scrying? Yeah. It's a land tutor. So Sylvan Scrying, 2 mana, get a land, put it into your hand. That's pretty decent. This one is 5 mana, search your library for 3 lands, but the creature has to die first. It's a little bit expensive. Why are you analyzing only combos? I'm more like so this tier list is mostly if I would run them as a commander. So I'm trying to think about like what is interesting about this card as a commander as opposed to just a 99. And usually that involves combos. That's just how it is sometimes. So if I'm analyzing it as a commander, I think it's okay, but it's not exciting to me personally. Combos with Nim Deathmantle? I guess so. You sacrifice this to Ashnod's Altar, then you sacrifice the Spirit Creature token, and then you get back the Nim Deathmantle. And then if you have in green any way of establishing a win condition from that loop, then you can win the game. There's that 1 mana mill each opponent from Cons. I forget the name. Chat, help me. Help. What's the 1 mana artifact? Alter the Brood. Chat always got my back. Yeah, so you could do Ashnod's Altar, Alter the Brood, Nim Deathmantle, and Korra. But that's meh. It's so good in like any deck. Yeah. I think it's kind of novel to combo in mono green. Yeah. I'd play it once. I don't know. It was fine. That's all I got to say about that. All right, we got rid of. Ooh, wait, I guess we have one more of the. No, this isn't really part of the. Not really part of the cycle. All right, so we did the cycle. That just took us half an hour. Whew, all right, but we're gonna speed things up over some of them. This one though is pretty hot. Not gonna lie, this one's pretty hot. This is the face commander of one of the pre-constructed decks, Chishiro, the Shattered Blade. And by the way, if you're thinking like, hey, I'm interested in this precon, but I want to upgrade it on a very tight budget and I want to optimize it as well as possible, you should check out the MTG Goldfish website and this channel on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, because both the pre-constructed decks are going to have a very exhaustive, in-depth upgrade guide. It's going to analyze both the decks, like what their strengths and weaknesses are, and why you'd be interested in buying them, like who would actually benefit the most from picking up and buying the deck. And then if you have the deck, what you can upgrade it with a $50 budget. So you're basically doubling the budget of the precon and maximizing the power increase from it. So Sunday, Monday, that's all I'm saying. One coming out Sunday, one coming out Monday. Anywho, back to the tier list. Plug over. Chishiro, the Shattered Blade. So this is a Gruul 4-mana 4/4 legendary creature Snake Samurai. Already won me over on Snake Samurai. I like those creature types. Whenever an aura or equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with Menace. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each modified creature you control. This card is kind of exciting because it's trying to juggle like multiple themes all at once. It wants you to either focus on auras or equipments, two things that Gruul doesn't usually focus on too much. Like red focuses a decent amount on equipments, but that's mostly a primary white thing. And green focuses pretty heavily on enchantments, but auras are like a subtype of enchantress that is, again, primary and white, oddly enough. So not having access to white opens up a design space, or rather it has a design hole where you can actually kind of be a little bit more creative on what you're going to be adding. From my analysis of the precon, I think that Chishiro is going to be a little bit better as an enchantress, like an aura enchantress deck, as opposed to a equipment deck, just because you get to lean very heavily on green's super good enchantress support. So you have like all the enchantress's presences and you know, all these things, Argothian enchantress, enchantress's presence, Verduran enchantresses, all the stuff, all of that good stuff is in green. So you have access to all of that, and you're gonna have a lot of powerful auras to kind of help facilitate that. So I personally am more interested in running Chishiro as an aura deck as opposed to an equipment deck. However, equipment is also a nice, interesting way of taking it as well. Also, the interesting thing here, again, is that you're combining that aura thing with also the fact that you're making a bunch of creature tokens, specifically like 2/2 spirit creature tokens, and you're also adding counters on stuff. So when I think about things that make tokens and things that add counters, we're immediately, my brain immediately goes to, you know what it is, doubling season, which doubles the amount of tokens you're producing, doubles the amount of counters you're putting on stuff. So you can have this really cool hodgepodge. Oh my god, it's $75? Holy, what the heck? All right, ignore this card. Proxying is free, by the way. Just saying, but like, that's something you could be doing over here. You can be doing over here by combining +1/+1 counters and combining tokens and all that sort of stuff. My favorite thing that I want to be doing, like the top aura that I want to be throwing on this is probably Breath of Fury. If you have a bunch of auras, you're playing a bunch of auras and you're making a bunch of little tokens, you eventually get a bunch of tokens onto the battlefield. You equip one of the tokens with Breath of Fury, and keep in mind these tokens have Menace, so they already have a pseudo evasion. It's not the best evasion. You probably want to give your stuff like trample or some way of getting unblockable in there. But then you drop down the Breath of Fury. You start swinging with all your creatures that you just made with Chishiro, and you take a bunch of extra turns, and you absolutely just destroy people. So that's pretty fun. Tomer been sleeping. Doubling season has been min $50 for the past 3 years. I mean, I'm a budget person at heart, right? So like, if a card is like over $5, I kind of put that out of my brain, you know. Doesn't it go infinite with that aura? No, I don't believe so, because when it enters, you sacrifice it and attach Breath of Fury to a creature you control. It doesn't leave the battlefield and re-enter the battlefield. If it went to the graveyard and then you returned it, enchanting a new creature, then it would go infinite with this. But because Breath of Fury, from my understanding, is it never leaves the battlefield, but it doesn't re-enter the battlefield. So like the creature is sacrificed and it immediately moves to another creature, but it doesn't leave the battlefield zone. Does not give haste either. Yes, but yeah, but like you're not. This would not be making infinite creatures. But I mean, if you could somehow blink Breath of Fury a bajillion times or something like that, that'd be pretty sweet. And there are like plenty of ways to get haste in Gruul, like you have Fires of Yavimaya or whatnot. So I think this is a really cool design space. Auras are primarily auras and equipments are primarily a white-based archetypes. And seeing it in Gruul is just kind of exciting. I think Chishiro's more exciting to me as an aura deck as opposed to an equipment deck. I feel like I can accomplish a lot more, or you can accomplish a lot more with this commander on a lower budget as auras over equipment, and I think it will just be better overall. But you can still do both, and I think this is just like a cool strategy. I can see myself playing it pretty often, like more than once. Definitely Chishiro's up there on that. All right, moving on. Goro, Disciple of Ryusei. This is a 2-mana, 2/2 legendary creature, Goblin Samurai. Has 2 activated abilities. For 1 red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn, so it's a mass haste enabler for 1 red mana. And then you can pay 5 to create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. So you can only activate this while attacking and while you have a creature that is modified. Meh. I think the artwork is really cool on this. Oh my god. I think this artwork is like absolutely badass. I think I'd play this. I'd play this just for the art alone, but I don't really care for its abilities in Commander. I feel like this is more of a. I guess it's more of a standard card, but even then, in standard, it doesn't seem particularly good. I'm not really sure what this card is for, honestly. I think the art is really sweet though. Look how badass that is. It's like this sword is actually the spirit of a dragon. That is sick. That is actually, and also I really liked the normal artwork too. But like, holy moly, holy bejeebs, this is really cool. I would play this card just because the art is so nice. But I wouldn't play as my commander. Whoops. Infinite mana win? I guess. But if you're like infinite mana, but also it's not entering attacking, right? So it doesn't even win you the game. It wins you the game after on the following combat, right? One rotation, mana echoes of his ability is good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but so the way I'm understanding this is you have to attack first. You have to declare attackers, right? You have to declare attackers. So you've already declared attackers, and giving your dragon spirits haste at that point does not help, right? So I don't think you can actually like attack and then give your creatures haste and then swing for infinite. But if you have a way to take extra combats, then sure. But like, yeah, I don't see like this is wins with infinite mana. Like it does, but it's a delayed infinite mana. You need a following thing to win. You can't just be like, I present infinite mana, I make infinite dragons, I immediately win the game. You need another card like Impact Tremors, for example, to win the game afterwards. Or Perforos, or some way of taking an extra combat phase after this one. But you need another step here. So I wouldn't really play it as a commander. Well, I like the artwork, so maybe I would play it once. I'd play it once. Once for the artwork, but only this artwork. Actually, both artworks are fine. All right, next up we got a new cycle of uncommon legendary enchantment creature shrines, which have caused a lot of confusion amongst everyone, including myself. Go Shintai of blank. So there's a uncommon cycle. There are each a monocolor. There's one of each, so 5 total. Each one is a legendary enchantment creature shrine. Now, a lot of people, myself included, initially read this and were like, "Oh, shrine is now a creature type, right?" Because there's like a dash and just shrine, and there's no like usually if like you have an enchantment creature or something like that, the enchantment type would show up and then the creature type would show up. Now the thing here you see is that these do not actually have a creature type. They have an enchantment type, they're shrines, but they don't actually have a creature type. So if you ask what creature type the Ghost Shintai have, it's they don't have any. They don't have any creature types. They're just shrines, they're just enchantments. So that means like no, changelings are not shrines now that these have been printed. And if you ask like what creature type they are, like if like kindred dominance or something like that, something that cares about creature types, these don't have any. So that's a little bit weird. I still get messages from like my casual friends who are like, "Oh, this is really cool because I can finally like make a bunch of like, you know, changelings and make a bunch of shrines that way." You can't. So that's just a heads up. But that these don't actually have a creature type. Shrine is not a creature type. They're just enchantment types. generally speaking, I wish they clarified it a little bit in the future. I'm okay that their shrines aren't a creature type. I don't particularly want them to be, but it would be cool if they clarified it a little bit, in my opinion. Anywho, these cards, the uncommon cycle, the red one, all of them have I think it's all at the beginning of your end step. Yeah, at the beginning of your, so each one is like 2 to 4 mana. They're all legendary creature shrines. They all are like small creatures. They're like 2/2s, 1/1s, and all that stuff. And all of them have an end step trigger that require you to pay 1. So the red one says, if you pay the 1 at end step, it deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. Green one is you put a +1/+1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you control. And then the black one is destroy target creature toughness X or less. Goshintai is mill X. The white one is make colorless spear creature tokens. And yeah, that's all of them. Basically, the same assessment for all of these. Do you want these as commander? Absolutely not. They're very good in Shrine Tribal, though. If you are in a 5-color Shrine deck, these are shrines. They count as shrines. They count toward its ability. And they all have very powerful end steps that you want to be using. Like, the only one that I personally probably wouldn't be using, I wouldn't be too hyped for, at least initially, is probably the Goshintai of Boundless Vigor, because it puts counters on a creature. I guess it's a win condition. You just turn one of your shrine creatures into must deal with threats. So they're all pretty good. Like, this one deals damage. It will kill people. This one pumps up your creatures so they can block better and then eventually kill people. This one removes creatures so it kills people. This one, the mill one, you want to mill yourself usually. If you mill yourself, you can put a bunch of enchantments into your graveyard and do some mass graveyard recursion, which is really nice. And then this one just makes a bunch of dudes. So that's all good. So would I want them as my commander? Absolutely not. They're all just in the 99, unsurprisingly. But there is a 5-color legendary commander that I very much want to be playing, and I think has a solid amount of hype around it. So we'll go to that one next. The Mythic Goshintai, the 5-color Mythic. This one's what's getting a lot of people hyped up, and I think for good reason. People really wanted a 5-color shrine commander that specifically cared about shrines. Shrines has been an archetype that's been playable for quite a while. I think it got a major boost I wanted to say recently, but I don't even know how many years it's been. What was even the set? What was the set? Korra set 2021. Korra set 2021 got a new cycle of shrines, the first cycle in like over a decade, right? And it got the biggest payoff card of all time in M21, Sanctum of All. 5 mana, legendary enchantment shrine. At the beginning of your upkeep, you search your library and or graveyard for a shrine card and put it onto the battlefield, directly onto the battlefield. And then if another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. So it's Panharmonicon for shrines. So this was like the payoff that Shrine Tribal decks really, really needed. And it got me super excited for building Shrine Tribal. What was it? Budget Commander, Shrine Tribal. I think it was here. So I did a oh man, the loading time on this was pretty bad. I did a Shrine Tribal budget article series thingy, primer thingy in 2020. If it will one day load. Well, we'll get back to it. And it was built around Captain Sisay, or I don't remember which Sisay it was actually. Sisay Weatherlight Captain. Sorry, that's the one. It was built around Sisay Weatherlight Captain, and it's still a command that I very much enjoy. And Sisei's primary role is, one, it gives you access to 5 colors, but number 2 is it lets you look for a legendary permanent card with mana value less than Sisei's power and put it directly onto the battlefield. So this was a great way of getting all your shrines onto the battlefield, but most importantly, it was the best way to get Sanctum of All on the battlefield, because Sanctum of All is the best payoff card for Shrine Tribal. It literally tutors up the other shrines, either from your library or your graveyard, and it lets you get double the value out of them too. All the shrines are legendary, by the way. So Sisei was a no-brainer inclusion in that. So I've written about Shrine Tribal 2 years ago when that came out, and I had Sisei as the leader for it. But, you know, like a lot of people, when they want to build a deck around a certain archetype, they want to make sure that their commander actually also reflects the archetype that they're building around. They want their commander to kind of like, you know, be tied directly to it. And so a lot of people were not that happy with Sisei as the commander, because Sisei doesn't care specifically about shrines. She cares about any legendary permanents. So a lot of people were waiting for a shrine commander, something that cared specifically about shrines. And here we go. We have one, Goshintai of Life's Origin. This is a 4-mana green 3/4 legendary enchantment creature shrine, and it has a 5-color activated ability, which allows it to be a 5-color commander. So you pay 5 mana, Wooburg, and you tap it to return target enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield. This doesn't have to necessarily be shrines, but generally speaking, you're going to be returning shrines if you're running this as your commander. Whenever Goshintai of Life's Origin or another non-token shrine enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 1/1 colorless shrine enchantment creature token. Again, these aren't it's not a shrine creature type. It's a shrine enchantment that's also a creature. Just to clarify again. So this is a really cool way of basically generating extra value every single turn. You pay Wooburg, you return a shrine from the graveyard to the battlefield. Really good if you have those self-mill blue shrines that will mill enchantments into your graveyard, and then you can grab them out with Goshintai. It makes a bunch of tokens. Those tokens are shrines as well, so they up your shrine count. So all your shrines do better, and you have blockers and stuff like that. So this one's really good. I will say, though, that I think Sisei's still better. Like if you want like the strongest shrine commander, I think Sisei's still better, because Sisei will get your Sanctum of All, and Sanctum of All is still the best payoff. I think it's still the best payoff. But if you're in for the flavor and stuff like that, Goshintai as a commander is still very, very good, and a very fine choice as the commander. So that was the whole spiel. And look, the token's really cute. This token is very cute. Yes, Sisei can find your Shintai. But like I said, my whole spiel was, on Twitter, I actually mentioned too that I think Sisei is a better commander for it, but a lot of people were like, Sisei is boring, Goshintai is more flavorful, yada yada, and that's all valid. I mean, you're playing Shrine Tribal. You're not playing CDH Shrines. I mean, maybe you are, but if you're playing CDH Shrines, you're playing Sisei. But like, if you're not playing CDH Shrines, it doesn't really matter what your commander is. So if you want to go for flavor, go for flavor. So I think this is nice that they printed it. I really like 5-color shrines. I've played it more than once. I've enjoyed it. I will continue playing it. So I will put it in. I will play often. All right. Next up. All right. Cool. Next up, we got Greasefang Okiba Boss. This one's really cool. This one's a very, very cool commander that I am, spoiler alert, super hyped for. Has also the alternate showcase art as well. This is a Orzhov, 1 white and a black for a 4/3 legendary creature, Rat Pilot. So it's an Azumi. I think. I don't know. At the beginning of combat on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. So this is Reanimator for vehicles. This card is pretty sweet. Vehicles, as an archetype, haven't had a lot of expansion in their card pool. I think they were first introduced in Kaladesh, if I'm not mistaken, and they've always been primary white. So our first commander was the Paula, which cared about vehicles and dwarves, and then we didn't really see any other vehicle commanders for a very long time. We saw vehicles show up now and then, like in Ixalan, they had a couple, boats and stuff like that, but not too much support for vehicle tribal. But now with Kamigawa, we got a bunch of new legendary commanders for vehicles and a bunch of new vehicles to play around with. And so Depala is our Boros one, Greasefang. Well, there's actually a bunch of other ones as well. And each one is actually a white and something else. So they're two-color white commanders that all deal with vehicles. The Greasefang one is the white and black, the Orzhov one. And this one's vehicle reanimation. So the idea behind this one is to put big, impressive-looking vehicles onto the graveyard, into your graveyard, then reanimate them with Greasefang, which could be super fun. Because you can cheat into play like super big, impressive vehicles. They're not going to be like game-ending like bombs or anything, but they're going to be pretty darn sweet. So one of the best options is Parhelion. If you discard or mill, entomb, any way of getting Parhelion into the graveyard, this is an 8 mana vehicle, so it's not cheap. You could reanimate it for free with Greasefang and immediately smack somebody for 5 in the air, and you're also going to be making 2 white 4/4 angel creature tokens with flying and villagers that are attacking. So the moment you get this onto the battlefield with Greasefang, you're doing what? 5, 8, 23 damage, right? No. Yes? No, 13 damage. What the heck? Brain. So that's pretty good. And then you still have the 2 angel tokens on the battlefield. And then you could like discard the Parhelion again and do it again next turn. So that's pretty sweet. Is it like busted? No, absolutely not busted. But it's pretty decent. It's pretty fun. Yeah, not 23 damage. It's 13 damage. There's another one that I like. There's like I forget the name of it. It's a vehicle, but it flips. It flips, and I think that means you can keep it permanently. What's the name of it? It's a boat. It's a boat. It's like a trading post boat. Conqueror's Galleon. So I didn't check, but I think this works. When it attacks, you exile it at the end of combat, then return to the battlefield, transform it under your control. So yes, this is how it works. What you can do with Greasefang is you can return this to the battlefield, the Conqueror's battlefield, to the graveyard, and it has haste. But this clause, return it to its hand at the beginning of your next end step. You can actually circumvent this clause by you attack with it, and then you exile it at the end of combat and return to the battlefield, transform it under your control. When it leaves the battlefield and it comes back, it's considered a new game piece, I think is the term, a new game piece. On the battlefield. It's not the same thing that was returned with Grease, so you don't have to bounce it again. So now you basically for free, you attacked with the Conqueror's Galleon, and then you got to land onto the battlefield. It does a bunch of really cool things. It's a trading post essentially. It's a new object. Yes, thank you. So I think that's a really cool way of taking like little synergies that are going to be accruing with Greasefang. I don't think there's anything like super busted you can be doing with this. So this is definitely like stuck in like a mid power range, I would say, mid to low power. But the tricks it does are pretty darn cool. So I'm really excited for it. And again, another plug. If you like all these new all these new vehicle commanders, but you're like, hey, I like all these vehicle commanders, but oh gosh, gee jolly, I wish they were all I wish I could run them all in the same deck. It's really annoying. The Grease Fang is white black, and the Pala is white blue, and the other one is white. This is white red, and the other one's white blue. And gee whiz, I just wish I could run them all in the same deck. You know, that would be really, really swell, you know? Well, I have an article / video that's going to be coming out on the channel next week. Basically jamming all of them together, all of these different commanders together into the same deck, kind of, sort of. I call it modular decks. I did this with auras, MTG modular auras. I think I'm the only one who did it. Yeah, there we go. Where basically you take you take the deck that is all these different pieces and you break them up into sections. For the vehicle ones, you'll notice that each one shares white as it's the shared color, because white is the primary color of vehicles. So my solution to running all of them and just playing whatever you want is this modular approach where I break up the decks into sections. One is a white core, so I have a white core for vehicles. Then I will have a Boros section for Depala, where it's going to be red and multicolor cards. And then there's going to be an Azorius section for the Azorius vehicle leader, which is going to be blue and multicolor cards. And then an Orzhov version for Grease Fang, which is going to be black and multicolor cards. So if you're interested in running all of those, and you want a way to do it without, rule zeroing it, you can rule zero it, obviously, and have them give them partners. But if you want to do it the official way, then yeah, just maybe check out the website. The website next week. It's coming out soon. When does the article come out? I don't know the exact dates, but it'll be next week. probably like Thursday, I would say. Thursday is usually a blank day for us, so yeah. Speaking of creatures that probably deserve partner, we're gonna go to 2 cards. Heiko Yamazaki, the General. This is a red creature, legendary creature, 4 mana red, 3/3, trample, human samurai, and it says whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. And this is like the new mechanic for samurai in this set. They don't really have like a keyword mechanic, but they basically have what this amounts to is like a new twist on the exalted mechanic. Exalted mechanic was always whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 for each exalted creature you have on the battlefield. And this is like a more interesting version of it. Instead of just giving it +1/+1, you're giving it some cool triggered ability. And that's the samurai mechanic this time around. Much better, I would say, than the previous mechanic, which was Bushido, which was a garbage keyword. I'm so sorry if you love Bushido, but it was really garbage. And nobody liked it, and I'm glad it didn't come back. Yeah. This one's really cool, though. So this one lets you cast an artifact card from your graveyard this turn. And the other one was, where are you? It's white, I believe. Wait, what? That one lets you cast an artifact. The other one, where are you? Am I crazy? Did I miss it? There it is. Yeah, I missed it. The white one does the same thing, but it lets you cast an enchantment. Now, the annoying thing here is it's kind of following this tradition of, it's a callback to an older card from the original set, the original Yamazaki, the brothers Yamazaki. So these were 2 brothers, it's 1 card, but it's 2 brothers. Bushido 1, the mechanic nobody liked. And then if there are exactly 2 permanents named brothers Yamazaki, the legendary rule doesn't apply to them, and they get +2/+2 in haste, which is really cute. But this was like a card when Commander became a thing. People were like, I really like brothers Yamazaki. And it became like kind of like a popular rule 0 where you could have 2 copies of this card as partners. in the command zone. And like, if you ever came to me with that request, I would 100% grant it. But following that tradition, these were not partners, and officially they're not partners in Commander. Following that tradition, Heiko and Norika both, they're Yamazaki. Well, they share the last name. If they're not sisters, they're cousins or whatever. Yamazaki cousins. They look like they should have a partner, but they don't. And I would also say, like, if you want to run both of them as your commanders, I think individually they're not particularly that strong. Putting them together, they're a little bit more interesting, but I don't think they would be busted. I would say if they both had partner on them, they would still be one of the weaker partners. They'd still be one of the weaker partners because, like, if you compare Heiko to Silas Ren, this gives you access to 2 colors. It's an artifact, so it has more synergy potential. It has death touch, and then when it deals combat damage, you can cast a artifact from your hand, from your graveyard, which is basically what Heiko does. For a little bit higher mana cost, it only needs to attack. It doesn't need to deal combat damage, but it doesn't have death touch, and it only gives you access to 1 color instead of 2. So I would say, like, Silas Ren is just better. Silas Ren is just better, and it has partner. It has partner, by the way. So if you want to do partner with these two, that's totally sweet. Also, look at the artwork. The artwork is really good. I really like the artwork. The artwork's good. It's clean art. I like the showcase for him. Yeah. Anyway. So. Would I play these as commanders? No. Individually, no. If they were as partners together, yeah, I would do it once. But individually, not so much. But they are kind of cool in the 99. They give the samurai and warriors a little bit of recursion, which is cool. I like that. And there they are. All right, moving on. All right, Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos. This is a Rakdos commander. It's 3 and a black for a 4/4 legendary creature, Ogre Demon. You can pay 1 black, sacrifice a creature to scry 2, or you can pay 3 mana, 2 and a red, and tap it to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. The problem here for me is, okay, so it's 4 mana, 4/4. That's kind of cool. Its activated ability is a sack outlet, which is nice, but you do have to pay 1 black mana for it. So it's like, that's, I mean, I guess unlimited sack outlets in your command zone is kind of shady because it combos super easily. But when you add a black mana, then it becomes a lot weaker, but then also less desirable. And then its activated ability, you exile the top card of your library, you can play it that turn, so it's card advantage, but you've already sunk 3 mana, 3 of your potential mana that turn. So now you have 3 less mana to actually cast a spell that you exile. Because you can't cast it until your next turn. It's only this turn. So, I mean, you also get to deal damage if it's a non-land card. So if you're putting like if you put like Draco, if you manipulate Draco on top of your library and then you exile it, then you're dealing 16, which is good. So I imagine this deck would be kind of like a top deck manipulation style deck, but like it feels like there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through for this one to be good, and it costs a lot of mana for what it's trying to do. So I don't know. I'm personally, I want to like this card, but I feel like it just costs a bit too much, and it's going to be a little bit clunky to actually pull off. It has potential to do cool things, but I just feel like maybe the cost is a little bit too high for me to be personally getting very excited about it. What I'm actually really excited about is not about the card text at all, but all these alt art treatments. So you can see the alt art treatment, the showcase frame. There's a new artwork as usual, new frame and whatnot as well. But they have like these like apparently these are going to be like neon painted, painted things that have like a special treatment where the neon is going to be like glowy and such, or like super reflective. So it's like a special type of foiling process that like makes the neon stuff pop. That's kind of cool. There's different variations of them, some of them more rare than the others. That's kind of neat. But like, I don't know. I'd maybe put this in the 99 like Prosper if I really wanted to, but like I feel like it's on the weaker end, but not in a very interesting way. For me personally. Not a super interesting way for me personally. So yeah. I'm gonna put it here. In the big old pile of not gonna run it as my commander. Maybe in the 99. Alright, we're moving on to possibly the strongest commander from the set. Possibly. It's Hinata Dawn Crowned. This is a Jeskai commander. It costs 4 mana, 1 blue, red, and white for a 4/4 legendary creature, Horsey Spirit, flying flample, as it were, and it has a very powerful ability. Hinata is a surprisingly strong blink commander, and some of the worst blink effects. Ooh, that's pretty sweet. All right, so this one has a very powerful ability. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. So let's say you have a spell that targets one thing. It's going to cost 1 less. So any counter magic, for example, that costs like 1 and blue, it's now just going to cost blue. But you can get further reductions the more targets you have with it. So spells, X spells. I forget. I didn't brew up Hinata myself yet, but I know there's like a bunch of X spells. There's like one that's like it bounces X target permanents or something. There's a bunch. Biforce. Well, Biforce is a good example here. So let's say you have Hinata on the battlefield, and you cast Biforce. So it's 1 for each target, and then a red. So Hinata reduces the 1 to 0. So if you target 1 artifact, you're paying 1 red mana. If you're targeting 20 artifacts, you're still paying 1 red mana because it's 20 minus 20 because it's 20 different targets. So Hinata plus X spells equals insane value. There's Biforce, there's like a bunch. Yeah, Curse of Swine is another one. Curse of Swine. Basically, you're paying blue to turn all opposing creatures into exile all opposing creatures, turn them into green boars. There's one that bounces. I swear there's one that bounces. A Strike Shot Magma Opus? Ooh, Magma Opus. Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. So it would be... You can't target more than 4, right? Or can you? You can only target as many as you can divide it by, right? Or can you actually target more than 4 with this ability? I guess this is any number, so it could be you could target 6, right? Tap 2 target permanents, create a draw 2 cards. So you can choose at least 4 targets with the damage part. Then you can tap 2 target permanents. Okay, yeah. So you target 4 targets with the first part. Then you tap 2 permanents with the blah, and then you have a reduction of blue red. So you can cast this for blue red to deal 4 damage, divided 1 to each. Tap 2 target permanents, create a token, and draw 2 cards. That doesn't actually seem too good. That actually doesn't seem too good, actually. So for blue and red, you're essentially you can pick off basically 2, or you could pick off basically up to 4 1/1s, and then you can tap 2 target permanents that possibly could be attacking you or something at instant speed. You can also make a token. I mean, it's good. It's not like insane. you're drawing for 2 mana. You're at instant speed. You're drawing 2 cards. You're making a 4/4 token. You're tapping down 2 things, and that's all right. Yeah, I mean it's good, but it's not like I think Curse of Swine is better. Like Curse of Swine, blue, all other creatures get exiled. I think the Distorting Wake is probably better too. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, return all non-land permanents. So for blue, you have a Cyclonic Rift. Triple blue Cyclonic Rift. 2 mana draw 2 is above the curve. I mean, it's good. It's not like busted though. Like it's good. Volcanic Offering is also good too. Yeah. So there's a lot of like weird cards that have multiple targets that you're going to be getting insane value for. Volcanic Offering targets 4 things, so you can add instant speed casts for red. I think this card is also really good too. This card is something I would run like not even in just this deck. I think Volcanic Offering is the real deal. For 1 red, essentially, you get to destroy 2 non-basic lands and deal 7 damage to 2 different creatures: Blatant Thievery, Soulfire, Eruption. Yeah, there's better things than Magma Opus out there. This is pretty insane as well. For each of them, exile top card of the library. So choose basically every single non-Hinata creature, planeswalker, in all your opponents. Yeah, the card is insane. So when it comes down to it, this card is definitely, I would say, probably it's either like it has to be in like the top 3 strongest commanders in the set. It has to be. Probably number 1. That said, I know people like super hyped for it, and I don't want to take anything away. Just brace yourself. But I personally don't like this card. This is not a commander that I personally want to play. And the reason for it is it's just like it's so kill on sight. It's so powerful that like if the Hinata player untaps, I just assume that person wins the game. And even if they don't untap, like if they just play Hinata plus they have just like, you know, a couple mana left over, they're also going to probably just win the game. So it's cool. Like I really like that it kind of breathes new life into a bunch of really unique cards that you don't really see that often elsewhere. Like where else are you going to see Magma Opus played that much? You don't really get to see those. Or Distorting Wake. You don't get to see Distorting Wake. And Soulfire Eruption. I don't remember the last time I saw Soulfire Eruption played in Commander. So it allows these cards to truly shine and do ridiculous things. And I like that a lot. Yeah, they can play free counter spells. Yeah, I mean, sure. So I like that it offers cards that you don't get to see played that much otherwise. But it's such a kill on sight commander that like either Hinata gets to untap and then it just wins, or Hinata gets shut down and the deck just doesn't really do that much, right? Because like you have so many, like if you're running like Curse of Swine is still good, Volcanic Offering is still good, but like Soulfire Eruption, if you don't have a way to like cheat that out, it's gonna be a dead card in your hand. So it really feels like the deck either has Hinata on the battlefield and you just win, or it doesn't have Hinata on the battlefield and it's kind of like a mediocre style deck. So I don't like how I don't like that gameplay style where your deck, like once people figure out that Hinata is like a scary commander, like if you bring this to the table and they don't know what Hinata can do, you'll probably get a free win pretty easily out of it, right? Like you'll just show people up with this deck and just stomp. But then the second game, people will know, and then you're in this weird position where like, all right, well now Hinata's being targeted, so I guess I need to load up on counter magic and ways to protect it so I can keep stomping them. And then you just have like this really high power deck that is just like super arch enemy. I don't know. Like it's fine. Like if you're excited about Hinata, then more power to you. And if you're at a high power table, or especially like CDH, more power to you. But like if I'm playing a mid power deck or something like that, it's very difficult to play Hinata and not like either be chased out of the game or just stomp people. So it's just a little bit too powerful, I would say, for me to be interested in it. I think that's the way. It's like so all in on what it wants to be doing that either it wins or it loses spectacularly. So I would play it once. I would play it once just to see it in action. But after I see it once, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm good. That's my personal opinion on it. Personally, for me, I would play it one time and one time only. And yeah, some people are going to say I'm going to play it anyway, and that's great. Like if you enjoy it, and the table is properly prepared for it, then you can have a fun time being arch enemy. But for me, that's I've been arch enemy enough that I don't particularly seek it out. You know, as someone who loses first in Commander Clash, almost always loses first. I feel like I don't want to give my opponents even more fodder to take me out. And I feel like Kanata would be absolutely that. I don't want to give them more justification to take me out, essentially. All right. Oh, where did I put Grease Fang? I don't think I put Grease Fang yet, did I? Oof. Grease Fang, I would play often. I would play it often. I would play it more often, or more than once. All right. Moving on, we got one of my favorite commanders from the set. It's Ishin. 2 Evans as 1. This is a Mardu commander. Red, white, black, legendary human samurai, 3/4. And it says, if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And it has this artwork, which I like a lot. I really love the colors in it. But, I mean, you got to give it up to the super anime artwork, too. It's kind of interesting that, like, I like the color work and stuff of the original more. But I absolutely love the pose and the dynamicness of this artwork as well. Although, so it's like I like 2 different aspects of both the artworks. They're both really cool, but I think I prefer this one. Anywho, so this is Attack Harmonicon. Creatures attacking causes triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger an additional time. So this benefits a lot of different things. It's pretty open-ended on how you want to be abusing it. So things like Aurelia, for example. Aurelia has an attack trigger. Whenever Aurelia attacks, you take an extra combat and you untap all your creatures. If you have vigilance for all your creatures, if you have a way of giving yourself vigilance, then all your creatures get basically 2 extra combat phases after the first time Aurelia attacks. Otherwise, if you don't have a way to give your creatures vigilance, then you basically give all your creatures 1 extra attack phase, and then Aurelia gets to attack an extra time as well because of the vigilance save. Because the way it works is like Aurelia triggers. Both extra combat phases go on the stack. The original one untaps all your creatures, and then the second one resolves and it untaps all your creatures again, but they're still already attacked because they haven't went to combat yet. If that makes sense. I'm not explaining very well, but the point is that you get 2 extra combat steps, but you need vigilance for you to get full value out of it. So there's that, but there's also like any curse of opulence, for example. Says whenever enchanted player is attacked, you create a gold token. So whenever you're attacking the enchanted player, you get a gold token. But also, if an opponent is attacking the enchanted player, you get 2 gold tokens as well. So it's not just triggering on your own stuff. You can also go defensive. You can go pillow fort with it, like Kazul, Tyrant of Cliffs. This says whenever an opponent, a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, you create a 3/3 ogre token. So if Ishin on the battlefield, again, your opponent has to pay 3. You have to pay 2 instances of 3 mana, or you get to make up to 2 ogre tokens, which is really cool. So there's like a bunch of really cool things you can be doing with this commander. It's pretty open-ended on whether or not you want to be focusing on you attacking or focusing on pillow 40 type stuff as well. So the open-endedness here really allows you to mix and match and kind of focus on what strengths you want to do. Is he like a busted commander? I don't think he's like super busted. I think he's just really, really good. He's definitely on the higher end in terms of power level from the set, but I don't think he's like so oppressive that he's going to be like, if he untaps one single time, you win. Like Hinata is like, if you untap with Hinata or you just play Hinata late with a bunch of mana, you just win. You know, like you probably just won. But Ishin, I feel like if you get to let him do his thing, like yeah, you can take some extra combat steps and he'll probably kill you that way. But otherwise, like oof, I have double the Kazul triggers. Oh no, oh boy, that's not as scary. I'm personally more excited to run Ishin. I feel like I won't be automatically the arch enemy at tables when I bust out Ishin, but we'll see. Maybe he's a lot better than I gave him credit for. Oh yeah, Explorer Scope is really good because you get the double the triggers. Yeah, finally. Sword of the Animus. Whenever a creature attacks, so you get to ramp out 2 times. Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to run bad cards with him. You can run good cards. Like I run Sword of the Animus in a lot of decks anyway. So now my good cards are even better. I think that's absolutely fine. That's pretty good. So yeah, I am personally quite hyped for Ishin. Very much like this commander a lot. Where would I put him? Would I add him to my personal collection? I'm not sure. He'd definitely be the closest. He'd be the closest one to being added to my personal collection. But I would definitely play him often. I would play him more than once at the very least. Combat Celebrant, unlimited combat? I don't think it works that way. Double Annihilator triggers? Yeah, that's pretty strong as well. When it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as attacks. When you do untap all creatures. Yeah, it just doesn't work either. I think you need to... I think the fact that it's already been exerted, right? That stops the clause. And also it needs vigilance too. Yeah, you need a way to haste him or like blink him or something like that. Yeah, you need like a Sword of Hearth and Home, for example. And then you need like a haste and ample. Like you need multiple things for it to work properly. But yeah, I like the commander. All right, Jin Kataxia's Progress Tyrant. This is another Praetor. And like most Praetors, they're usually a lot better in the 99 than in the command zone because all of them can get cheated into play, and they cost a lot of mana, so you most likely want to reanimate them as opposed to hard cast them. But we'll see on this one. This is a 7 mana 5/5 Phyrexian Praetor. It's 5 in double blue. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn, so there's a cap on how powerful it is, I guess. I'm sure there's workarounds of blinks and whatnot, but I mean, it's good value, right? Like if you're an artifact, instant, or sorcery deck, getting to copy an extra thing every single turn is very good. And then whenever an opponent casts an instant, artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. This card is pretty mean. Pretty mean card. It basically says like the first spell your opponents are casting on their turns is just is gone. Like this is the part that people will get really angry about if you put it onto the battlefield. Oh, and it has cool like showcase frames. Although like this one almost feels like a waste because while this version is really cool, the only one that anybody is going to care about really is this one, right? There we go, nicer version of that. Yeah, rule of law effects. So basically what this card does is it basically tells the rest of the table, first of all, kill me, but second of all, what you're going to have to do, you see, is kind of coordinate, I think. I think what you can do is you can have like you can say, all right, two of us have instant speed kill spell, or one of us has a sorcery speed kill spell, and one of them has an instant speed one. So the first person has to waste their spell to get it countered by Jinkataxias, and that will give the other person an opportunity to use their kill spell on Jinkataxias. But that's still like difficult, right? Or one person casts it. This ability triggers only once each turn. I thought this. Does this still trigger once per opponent? It's per opponent. Oh. So it's not once each turn total. Okay. So it's basically the onus is on one opponent to cast 2 spells and then have the first one countered, so the removal spell, the second one, goes through. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is more of it's not per opponent. Okay, okay. So I got it right then. So you could do teamwork with your other mutual opponents to get rid of it. All right. So yeah, like you can play around a pretty. I don't think you can play. It's too difficult to play around. Like if you have a kill spell, to get rid of Jinkataxias, it shouldn't be too difficult to get to actually kill it. But I guess the player is also in blue, so they have probably counter magic to protect him or whatnot. Is it really good? I don't know. It seems all right, but like, I don't think it's super oppressive in practice. Like, I think it's pretty easy to play around, and the fact that you can copy something once per turn, I mean, that's good. It is a good ability. It works really well with flash. Like, you could flash in artifacts or whatever, or even just like you're casting multiple instances per turn cycle. But I don't know. I don't even know if it's going to be worth the amount of hate you're going to get just from this ability. Like, is the payoff really worth it? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I feel like there's some disgusting things you can do with it, maybe with blink effects. But yeah, it's definitely not in the command zone. It is a reanimate target, but I don't think it's as oppressive as the first Jinkataxias for sure, where if you don't have an immediate answer to Jinkataxias, you lose your hand, and also you draw 7. The person draws 7. I mean, it's interesting, but I wouldn't play as my commander now. I don't think I would want to be archenemy like that. Anyway, moving on. All right, we got one of my favorite commanders from the set. It's Kaima, the Fractured Calm. This is also from the pre-constructed deck. It's not the face card. It's part of the 99. It's a 4 mana, 2 red and a green, so a Gruul, 3/3 legendary creature spirit. It's a big old boar, and it says at the beginning of your end step, goad each creature your opponents control that's enchanted by an aura you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kaima, the Fractured Calm, for each creature goaded this way. I love me some goad personally. I do like goad a whole bunch, and I also like auras a whole bunch. The weird thing about auras, as I mentioned earlier with the other Gruul commander, is that auras are very much like primary white, although auras are a subset of green, and green is primary enchantress and also dabbles in auras as well. So focusing on something that's being in an aura deck that's not in white is kind of weird, but you're still in green, and you also have red to kind of bolster your card pools. And I love the idea of enchanting your opponent's creatures for value to goad them. So goading not only does it make sure you're not being dealt damage, but it also forces your opponents to make attacks that they normally wouldn't want to be doing. Maybe getting thrown into blockers that are sadly in their way, or just dealing damage to people they didn't want to deal damage to. Either way is beneficial for you. So I really like goading. I recently made a Carter deck. I really much enjoy it. So goading is super, super fun. So what type of auras would you want to be enchanting your opponents with? There's one that I liked a lot. It's called Frenzied Fugue. That's the one. When it enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain control of the enchanted permanent until end of turn. You tap the permanent. It's basically a theft effect that you do like repeatable theft things with. But there's also just like other, like, there's either beneficial things that you can enchant your opponents with, or as you can enchant your opponents with. But there's also just like neutral stuff that you can enchant your opponents with. So, for example, where is it? Where is it? There's like a bunch of stuff that says like draw. Where are you? The cantrip ones. Like a dragon mantle. You can put a dragon mantle on an opponent's creature. That doesn't really help that much, but you know what? You draw a card, you goaded, and you're not down a card in the process. Frog tongue, same thing, you know. Kenra's transformation, you make them super sad, but then they also have an elk, and they attack with the elk. Rune of might, rune of speed, citizen training, all that some fun stuff. All that some fun stuff. The vows are like double duty, I guess. Keen Sense and Sixth Sense are great. Kind of great. So Keen Sense works. Yeah. Sixth Sense, I don't think works. Yeah. So Keen Sense is the old school templating where if the enchanted creature deals damage, even if you're not controlling the enchanted creature, you get to draw the card. But Sixth Sense does not work that way. It says whenever this creature deals combat damage, you draw a card. So you're not going to draw the card if you don't control the creature. So that's something to keep out for. But anyway, the deck is cool. I actually like this one a lot. This one I would probably add to my personal collection. Yeah. I like goading. I like auras. It's different and I enjoy it. So boom. There it is. There's the first one I would add to my collection. All right, next one. Katsumasa, the animator. Okay, this is the first time I'm reading this card. Moonfolk Artificer, that's fun. So it's a 4 mana, 2 and double blue for a legendary creature, Moonfolk Artificer, flying 3/3, decent stats. You can pay 2 and a blue until end of turn. Target non-creature artifact you control begins with an artifact creature and gains flying. If it's not a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. So it's a kind of a way to animate your vehicles without having to pilot them. You just pay 3 mana instead. But you can also just like animate whatever, which I guess is kind of cool. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 3 target non-creature artifacts. Straight to the Moonfolk deck? I mean, it's all right. So it kind of helps your vehicles. It passively helps your vehicles with this part. You don't have to spend any mana to get this part to start going. This part is kind of underwhelming. It's fine. It's good if you're low on creatures and high on mana. It's all right. Would I want it as my commander? Probably not. Would I want it as 99? Maybe. Maybe. It's all right. I don't think I would play it once. I don't want to put it as my commander though. I'm gonna put it here. All right, moving on. Kodama of the West Tree. Kodama of the West Tree, one of the most busted legendaries from the set. This is a 3 mana green creature, 2 and a green for a 3/3 legendary creature spirit. As reach, obviously, because it has a Kodama. Modified creatures you control have trample, and then whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So basically, what you do here, you see, is if you have any deck that deals with modified creatures, it could be a green deck that deals with equipment, auras, or +1/+1 counters, and the latter is probably going to be the most typical one because greens and +1/+1 counters are kind of like peanut butter and jelly at this point. They all get trampled. That's already nice. And then the real payoff is whenever they deal combat damage to a player, you ramp out a land. If you're ramping out a single land every single turn cycle, this card is already a good card. It's already a good card for a 3 mana legendary creature. Ramping out once each turn. Already fantastic. but then you put it in a deck that like has multiple modified creatures at any given time. Like, you know, Torrens, for example, recently came out. It makes a bunch of tokens, so it goes wide very easily. And all those tokens have training. So when they immediately attack, these are 1/1s. They're 1/1s, so when they immediately attack, you put a counter on all of them. That's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. You're going to be ramping out like 5-ish lands every single turn, and they all have trample. Like BFS with like Cathar's Crusade and stuff like that, you know? Play a bunch of creatures, you put counters on them, super easy. Avenger or Zendikar? Anybody? You know, this underrated card that nobody plays in Commander. You make an army of plant tokens based on the amount of lands you have. And then when you get, then you attack. You attack with the plants, and that will put a bunch of lands directly into play, which will grow the plants and give them +1/+1 counters. And then they have trample, and then your opponents die, and then you ramp out some more. And then you just get all the basics out of your deck. Essentially, that's what it does. This card is insane. This card is insane. It is a little bit weaker as the commander as opposed to part of the 99 of like a Selesnya deck, but I'm pretty confident this is a pretty good commander as well. Pretty confident it's a good commander. It's a very good card. One of the most powerful cards from the set, I would say. I'm calling it now. Would I play it more than once? It's pretty funny. I don't know. It's very close. I'd play it more than these. I'd play it more than these. Because, like, this one isn't just like a one-trick pony. It just kind of enables busted things. What's Oboon? I know Phylith or something. Phylith loves him. Oboon. What's Oboon? Oh, Oboon. Yeah. Yeah, Oboon loves him. All right. Moving on. All right, this is a really cool one. Kosei Penitent Warlord. So this is a 0/5 1-mana green creature, 1 and double green for a 0/5 legendary creature, Ogre Samurai. And it says, as long as it's enchanted, equipped, and has a counter on it, Kosei has, whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards, and it deals that much damage to each opponent. So this is kind of like a Voltron-y commander, but it has a very specific set of restrictions. You need to have it enchanted, you need to have it equipped, and you need to have a counter on it. This is really cool. I like cards that have multiple hoops. I'm a sucker for things that require you to have like 3 other things assembled. I love me my Cauldrons. I love me my Mech Titans. I love me my things that do these things. So this is a Voltron commander. It wants you to enchant and equip and have counters, and then it's pretty. The payoff is pretty darn sweet. You draw a whole bunch of cards and you deal a lot of damage to each opponent. The hoops aren't even too bad. I mean, they're not too bad, but I don't think this card is like busted. It doesn't do anything by itself. It does literally nothing by itself. The hoops aren't too insane. But like, I mean, they're significant enough that like the payoff is not like stupid. Like, it's good, but it's not stupid. But yeah, I like it. It's really good. Yeah, Ordeal of like Nylea and stuff like that, which is like a 2-for-1, right? You enchant it, you attack with it, you get a counter on it. What do you need is Grafted Exoskeleton? Yeah. So it deals damage to each opponent. If you give him an infect, that damage is infect damage, and he can one-shot people pretty easily like that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a fun commander. I don't think it's like super oppressive or anything. I don't think it's any more kill on sight as any other Voltron commander. Like, you know what their win condition is on the battlefield. They're not being coy about it, right? Like, you could just see it. You could see when you're going to die to a Kosei. So it will draw more hate than like a combo deck. It's just like hidden knowledge versus public knowledge. But I don't think it's like a super oppressive commander or anything like that. It does things very fairly, I would say. And I'm excited for it. I like this. I like this design. I like assembling Cauldras in various different ways. I would play this deck multiple times. I'll put it there. All right. How many more do we have? Maybe I need to speed it up further. Oh yeah, we'll speed it up a little bit. All right, Katori Pilot Prodigy. This is another modular, or not modular. It's another vehicle commander. We covered the white-black one. This is the white-blue one. And this is the face of one of the precons, which, again, check on the website Monday. You'll have a precon upgrade and full in-depth review of it. So this one is a Moonfolk Pilot. It's 1 white and a blue for a 2/4 Moonfolk Pilot. It doesn't have flying. I'm kind of confused by that. I thought all Moonfolk fly, but apparently they don't. Whatever. Vehicles you control have crew 2, so it makes crewing vehicles a lot cheaper, or it at least lowers the amount, the maximum that it needs to crew. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact creature you control gains lifelink and vigilance until end of turn. This is pretty straightforward. This is a very straightforward. I want to make vehicles better. How do you make them better? You make them easier to crew, and you give them lifelink and vigilance. Super duper straightforward. 3 mana for this effect is really good. Very well costed. It's not gonna blow anybody away. It is what it is, honestly. If you wanna play a fair vehicle commander, this is it. It's very fair. It does. She can't fly from inside the vehicle. I mean, but if she's crewing a vehicle, then she's tapped, right? So, doesn't even need a body. Yeah, it's fine. It's a very fair commander. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a fair commander that's vehicles. I like vehicles. I'm gonna play this commander. I'll play it more than once. Don't expect it to like win out of nowhere. It's definitely it's gonna win in the most direct way possible. It's gonna crew your vehicles and make them slightly better. That's it. So honestly, what more do you want from it, right? I'm gonna put this as I would play more than once. Boom, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Actually, and also I'd probably put I'm confused on what I would add to my personal collection. I think it's like a bunch of these at this point. It would be Ishin and Kaima are like the top 2. Maybe the Shrine deck. All right, we'll move on. Katosi, the Silent Spider. This is a Dimir human ninja that doesn't care about ninjas. It's a 5 mana 4/4 legendary creature human ninja with a big ol' thing of text. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target card other than a basic land card from an opponent's graveyard. Search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name and exile them. Then that player shuffles. For as long as you control Katosi, you may play one of the exile cards, and you may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast it. So in a standard, you can actually remove like some important cards, right? You can get rid of their play set of whatever that you're scared of. And you get to get a little bit of card advantage. In Commander, though, this is obviously not really good in Commander. I think the legendary part and maybe to like as a balancing thing, I don't think this was ever meant to be a Commander card because like it enters the battlefield and you're getting one thing, and the one thing has to be from the graveyard, so you have control over what the thing is going to be, but it's just one card, and it doesn't really do anything else when it's on the battlefield. So, like, yeah, Zera's Sand is probably better if you want to do that. Like, it has flash, it deals combat damage, you get something from its graveyard onto the battlefield for free. You don't even have to cast it or anything. You just get it. That's fine. It's a fine card. It's definitely on the lower power end. Like, you can blink it and stuff, but I mean, it's a 5 mana commander. It's all right. If I'm playing like casual ninjas, I'll put in the 99. But I want to play as my commander, though. All right, moving on. We got those. Oh, Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. This is a 5-color commander. But you only have to pay white to actually cast it. As is tradition for 5-color commanders, apparently. That's how they make them these days. So it's 3 and a white for a legendary creature, Dragon Spirit, 3/3 flash, flying. When it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control Kyodai. So perma, instant speed, indestructibility. That's kind of cool. So it can kind of like, I mean, you can save a creature from a board wipe. Kyodai will die, but you can also save it from target removal. That's, I guess, better. And then you can pay 5 mana Wooburg. That's why you can play it as your 5-color commander. It gets +5 until end of turn. Meh. Like, if you want to play a good stuff commander, but you don't want to play Kenrith, like, you want to play 5-color good stuff, and you don't want to play Kenrith because, I don't know, Kenrith's too strong or whatever for your play group, you can run Kyodai. It's fine. Not a very strong commander, but he gives you access to the colors. Or if you want to play like 5-color spirits, I guess that's fine. Maybe it's instead of Okagachi. That's fine. Not exciting in the slightest to me, but it's there. It's definitely a card. It's a Magic the Gathering card. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. I don't care about you. All right. Next up. Light Pause, Emperor's Voice. Very powerful card. It's a 2-mana 2/2. It's 1 and a white. 2-mana 2/2 legendary creature, Fox Advisor. And whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to the aura with a different name than each aura you control. Put that card onto the battlefield and attach to Light Pause. So this is Aura Voltron. Aura Voltron. Oh my goodness. That is some artwork. That is some artworks. All right. Yeah, cool. That art makes me uncomfortable. All right, let's look at this one more. Yeah, so the card itself. I'm a big aura person. I'm a big aura fan, you could say. I've made a lot of aura decks. I'm that better not always. It's like, all right. I mean, sure. I made a lot of aura decks, as you could tell from this. Like in December, 4 aura decks for less, 4-in-1 modular auras. I like auras. I like auras a lot, you could say. I also did Budget Commander SRAM auras. So I am not a new person to Aura Tribal, especially in mono white. Do people just want to see the artboard? There it is. I'm not a new person to auras, mono white auras, or any of that sort of stuff. I've done a full primer on this, which, spoiler alert, it's going to be very applicable to this one. It does the exact same thing. It does literally basically the same concept. SRAM, whenever you cast Nora, you're drawing a card. This one is even better because you get to tutor repeatedly. Sticking directly to the game. I'm trying. All right. Whoever commissioned this was quite the furry aficionado, is all I'm saying. I know enough of the community to say that, at least. All right. And good for them. Anyway, that's enough of that. So this one is basically like, I don't know if there's any like crazy combos you can be pulling off in mono white auras that this will be able to pull off, but it's just going to be essentially a way for you to get whatever aura you need at any given time. 9 times out of 10, what I'm going to try to be getting, I'm going to be casting a big aura, and I'm just going to guess Sage's Reverie. That'll be great. The double strike one is very good. I forget its name. Battle Mastery. Double strike. Boom. I don't know. Repeatable tutor commander. Pretty linear. Repetitive. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything too crazy you can get, but the point is that basically this is Voltron auras, and it's probably one of the best Voltron auras out there. Every single time you're casting an aura, instead of just drawing a card, you're getting just a card directly onto the battlefield. The positive end is if you want to play Aura Voltron, this is fantastic for you. The negative end is that, yes, a tutor on a stick in your command zone is going to be very linear. Every game is going to require you to perform a lot of the same play patterns over and over again because you're tutoring every single time. So obviously you're going to be playing the same cards over and again. You're tutoring them up every single game. So yes, I would not add this to my. I don't know if I would add this to my personal deck, even though I love auras. I love mono white auras. I actually prefer SRAM. If I was going to be building a paper mono white aura deck, I would actually like SRAM more because first of all, you don't have to shuffle as much, and second of all, you're going to be playing different cards more often because you're just going to be playing whatever you draw. Now that said, which one is more powerful? It's Light Balls. It has to be Light Balls. Light Balls is definitely 10 times stronger than SRAM in an aura deck. But I would still play SRAM. I'd still play SRAM over this just because, I don't want to be shuffling a bajillion times every single turn. I don't want to play the same cards every single turn. So that's just how it is. Pariah is kind of interesting, yes. You can enchant creature. You can enchant it so you essentially don't take damage until Light Pause is dealt with. But on the other side too, I don't know. You don't really need that too much because you're probably going to give Light Pause flying, vigilance, double strike, lifelink, and all that stuff. Who's going to be attacking you if Light Pause is popping off? I think it's good to have it in there though. The nice thing about that Pariah in this particular deck, actually, I'm actually already going against what I just said. I actually like this in this particular deck more than SRAM or whatever because you can tutor it up whenever you would need it. Small hands, yes, exactly. If people who are new to the stream, if you don't know, I have tiny baby hands. I don't like shuffling my decks. I hate shuffling my decks. I'll play this on paper on MTGO, but I won't play this in paper. Absolutely not. Pariah plus Spirit Master Mantle. Oh, that's pretty funny. Protection from creatures. Boonweaver combos. How do you Boonweaver in mono white though? How do you Boonweaver in mono white? What is the Boonweaver combo in mono white? I know you can do it in Selesnya. Is there a Boonweaver combo in mono white? Slash, you don't even need Boonweaver because Light Pause is your Boonweaver. I'm interested in playing this commander, but I will only play it on MTGO, and I'll probably play it on Commander Clash or something like that, and that's basically it. I would never put this in my paper collection, though. But I would play it more than once. But I would probably get tired of it pretty quick. So, bleh. Shuffling is like therapy? Shuffling is like therapy if you're choosing to shuffle. If you just have a deck of cards on your table and you shuffle it, that's great. If I'm forced to shuffle it, despite my objection to it, not so great. Gift of Immortality plus any sack outlet, but that's not... I mean, that's an infinite, but it's not like I win the game infinite, right? Because Gift of Immortality... you can't just do it a billion times on your same turn. It returns it to the battlefield, return it to the owner's control, but the Gift of Immortality only returns at the beginning of the next end step. So you can't keep sacrificing the creature, and it keep popping back immediately. There's a delayed It's like a delayed trigger thingy. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. Oh my god. The furries. All right. All right, now we got a cycle of new Myojins, which are kind of exciting, but absolutely not exciting whatsoever as commanders. So we'll just like quickly go over them. All of them are going to be 8 mana to cast, and there's one for each color. So 5 total. So they're all 8 mana. They're all legendary creature spirits, so they can be your commanders, but I would advise against it because they all enter the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it if you cast it from your hand. Obviously, if you're casting it from... Oh, Boonweaver grabs from the graveyard. Oh, okay, I get you. So you can't do it with Light Paws. You have to do it with Boonweaver. Boonweaver, Gift of Immortality, and then a sack outlet like Phyrexian Altar, right? Something like that. Or not Phyrexian Altar. Altered Dementia, that's what I meant. Anyway. So Myojin... All of them, if you cast them for 8 mana from your hand, or for free, or whatever, as long as you cast them from your hand, they come into the battlefield with an indestructible counter. Then you can remove an indestructible counter from them to do something. So the white one creates a 1/1 spirit creature token for each permanent you control. The Myojin copies target permanent spell you control 3 times. The Myojin of Grim Betrayal puts to the battlefield under your control all creatures in all graveyards that were put there from anywhere this turn. The red one deals 7 damage to each of up to 3 different targets. And the green one distributes 8 +1/+1 counters on any number of target creatures you control, and they gain trample. So, the way this works, you see, is you cast them, you remove the indestructible counter, and you get this massive effect. And there's ways to play around this. Obviously, if you have proliferate effects, if you can double the amount of counters they have, then you can use their abilities more than once. You can also have like Runes of Brightheart to copy their triggered ability as well. All really, really powerful effects. They're all super nice in Commander. I think the Blossoming Dawn / the Cryptic Dreams are probably my 2 favorites. I assume the Cryptic Dreams can do infinite shenanigans. I just assume that because copying things 3 times usually leads to infinites. The Myojin, the black one, is really good if if you do like a board wipe and then you just get all the creatures afterwards. There's also like shenanigans we'll be getting to, like Rhysona, for example. Like Rhysona generates indestructible counters, and then Nesting Grounds. We'll get to it soon. And Nesting Grounds can move indestructible counters to other permanents, so you can add permanents that way to the Myojins. But the easiest way, honestly, is just going to be proliferating them. That's the easiest way. So you can get extra value out of them, but in the command zone, they're kind of awkward because you have to cast them or you have to get them out of the command zone somehow. There's a couple of ways in black and whatnot to put a commander from the command zone into your hand. There's like a land that does it too. All the ways that you do it is clunky though. All the ways are pretty clunky. The least clunky way is if you're in black, you can do it some extra ways. But none of them I think are worth having as your commander. They're good in the 99. If you can play around with their counters and whatnot, but not as a commander. Not as a commander. So these are all here. All here, unsurprisingly. Boop, boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Moving on. We got Naomi, Pillar of Order. Will it be gross? Give Black Myojin World Slayer? Oh, I like that. That's kind of like a win more at that point, though. Like, everybody lost everything, and you have a Myojin with World Slayer on the battlefield? But I like how you think. Winning more is good. Naomi, Pillar of Order. This is a 5-mana, 4/4 legendary human advisor Orzhov, so it's 3 and a white and a black. Whenever it deals, enters the battlefield or attacks, if you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. Okay. Having an artifact and an enchantment, I guess, isn't the hardest thing to do. Like you could even have like the Theros like Whip of Erebos and stuff, and that already handles both parts of that. Honestly, it's it's an enchantment artifact. So you could like blink it or something. I don't know. It's not very good. I guess it's good for limited. It's probably good for limited. I don't know. Nah. There, it's doo-doo. All right. Nashi Moon Sage's Scion. Nashi Moon Sage's Scion. This is a black rat ninja. So 1 black 3/2 legendary creature rat ninja. Ninjutsu 4. So it's a ninja. And it says whenever Nashi deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value instead of its mana cost. Ooh. So this is like, Gauntified Bolas' Citadel thing. That's spicy. So instead of blinking triggering this is combat damage, but you get 4 cards. And you get to choose between 4 cards like Gaunty, but you get to choose, you got 1 from each opponent, and you don't have to pay the mana for it, but you have to cast it immediately, like until end of turn. So I don't know. I don't know if it's better than Gaunty, but it's definitely interesting. Ooh, look at that! Look at that! Oh man, I like the showcase art on it too. That's cool. So this is basically Gaunty for combat, right? It's Gaunty for combat, and it costs less to cast it because you could pay life. You pay life instead of paying its mana cost, but you can't. You have to use the card immediately. So I wouldn't say it's better than Gaunty. It's just different. Like, you're not playing a blink deck. You're playing a combat trigger deck. It's also a ninja, so obviously in a ninja deck, it's going to be really sweet. But if you're in a ninja deck, you probably don't want to be having this as your commander because you want to have Dimir colors to run all the ninjas. So is it good as a commander? No, but I think it's a cool card. I just wouldn't play it as my commander. So there we go. There we go. Cool card. I like it. I like it a lot. So we did Noriko. Let's go to Ryu. Or is it Ryu? Is it Ryu? I don't know. Storm's Edge. So this is the samurai commander. Everybody loves opponents except Gaunty's band. Gaunty's house band. Only if I'm playing Culture. If I'm not playing Culture, you can do whatever you want. Ryu Storm's Edge. This is the samurai / warrior commander from the set. Boros 2 red and white. My brain's shutting off. 3/3 first strike. Human samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, there is an additional combat phase after this one. So, for your samurai deck, this is an extra combat thingamajigger. This is really cool. Powerful ability. Because not only do you get an extra combat phase, which, super beneficial for you because you get to double your damage output, but also you're doubling your samurai / warrior triggers, right? Like, all your samurai payoff cards are all like, whenever it attacks, you get a beneficial thingy. So you're getting double that, which is great. Ryu. Yeah, Ryu. Oh, it's Ryu. Okay. But not Ryu. Ryu. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Also, the showcase art is really, really cool too. I appreciate the abs. So I think if there is a samurai deck that comes out of this, and I think there is, this would probably be my pick for the leader. It doubles the damage output, and it doubles your samurai triggers, which is all good. I like all those things, and the fact that you can also supplement your samurai with warriors to kind of fill out the deck, because there's not going to be a lot of good samurais to fill out your 99. You can actually supplement it with warriors. That's also really good too. Does it work with Ishin? It does work with Ishin because this is an attack trigger. Whenever so the key word usually you're looking for is if the sentence starts with whenever, it's a trigger usually. Whenever and then blank, it's usually a trigger like 9 times out of 10, I think. Chat, you can back me up on it, I think. So it's like whenever attacks. So you're looking for those, basically those two words. Whenever attacks. So it works with Ishin. It needs a warrior or samurai to attack alone, yeah. So a single samurai attacks, you get 3 combats. Yes, you get your regular combat. You get this combat, and then you get the other combat. But again, there's one key thing you need, and you need vigilance. So the way this works, like imagine the triggered ability with Ishin, right? Let's pull out Ishin again. So Ishin copies a trigger, and those two resolve like one after the other. So the way this works with Ishin is you attack with your samurai / warrior. Ryu will say you untap it and then you take an extra combat. Oh. No. Yeah, okay. So the way it works is like so both triggers go on the stack. The Ishin trigger and the Ryu trigger, and then the Ryu copy trigger from Ishin. So the first one resolves. You untap your samurai / warrior that attacked alone, right? And then it says if it's the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after this one. Actually, does the copy even work? Because if it's the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase. Wait, how does it really work? I think it works. I just need to double check. First time each turn, untap. Can you copy it? Does the copy work? Because the trigger's on the first one. First combat, not first attack. Oh, it is the first combat phase. Yeah. You're right. It does work. Because it's the first combat phase. So it's still gonna work. Yeah. All right. So this is an important thing for vigilance. So both these triggers go on the stack, right? So the first one will untap your creature, and then it says it will give you an extra combat phase. Then before you go into your extra combat phase or whatever, the second trigger resolves immediately afterwards, and it untaps the creature, and then it gives you another combat phase. So if you don't have vigilance, you're going to go into your second combat phase, attack, and now your creature's tapped. And then you're going to go into your third combat phase, and nothing will happen because your creature is still tapped. So you need vigilance to get maximum value out of copying these type of triggered abilities. Same thing with Aurelia, same thing with all these stuff that you're copying extra combat triggers. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Ryu versus Ishin. I think Ishin is probably just going to be the way to go if you really care about running all the samurai. I don't know if there's any samurai in black, but well, I guess Ishin is a samurai. So, who's your samurai commander? I think if you want to maximize power, it's probably Ishin. Because this works with basically all the samurai triggers. You're just doubling all of them. Whereas Ryu is I mean, it also doubles them, and it gives it an extra combat phase, but you're stuck with you're stuck in Boros, so you don't have access to black. I think both are kind of cool. I'm probably gonna be running a Ryu deck at the very least, just because access to this sweet artwork. I don't know. Who knows? Might be biased. But yeah, I like this deck. I could see myself playing it more than once. I don't know. I don't know how many times I would play a samurai deck. I feel like the samurai / warrior. I feel like there's not that many cards to work with, but it's definitely a commander I can get behind. Okay. Here we go. This is a cool one. I did a short on this one as well. This is Rysona Asari Commander. It's a Boros commander. And we'll check out this. This is the only one where I really appreciate the artwork from a technical level, but look at that. That's so cool. Maybe I'm just a weeb. Maybe I'm just coming out as a weeb. I don't know. Is this what's happening? I'm just coming out as a weeb. I like this artwork a lot. I think the pose is super cool, and I don't know, everything. The whole set is the whole thing. Weeb furry. I don't know about that one. But definitely weeb, perhaps. Dr. Anime weeb. All right. We're focusing on the card. We're focusing on the card, chat. All right. So the cool thing about Raisona is, basically the synergy potential here. This is a 1 red and a white 3/3 Boros legendary creature, human samurai with haste. Whenever Raisona deals combat damage to a player, if it doesn't have an indestructible counter on it, you put an indestructible counter on it. So it generates an indestructible counter. And then whenever combat damage is dealt to you, you remove an indestructible counter from Raisona. So Raisona by herself, she's like kind of like an aggressive, indestructible commander. Not particularly super exciting. Like Boros indestructible attacking commanders are kind of like not super interesting, and she's definitely not as like exciting as like a Zergo Helm Smasher, which is attacky and has indestructible on its own turn, and you have access to black, so you have a little bit more to play around with. By herself, she's like super good with like board wipes, like Vanquish the Horde or whatever, destroy all creatures. You give her indestructible, you remove, you cast a board wipe, you kill all opposing creatures, then there's going to be nobody who can remove a counter from you, which is super simple. Oh yeah, very good with Pariah as well, where like if you're not being dealt combat damage, then you're basically indestructible until somebody deals with Raisona a different way, an exile effect, a bounce effect, something like that, sacrifice. So there's cool things you can do there, but my favorite thing about this is the fact that it's generating indestructible counters. So my favorite tech by all accounts is going to be Nesting Grounds. We covered this card a little bit earlier in the stream, if it will load. But basically, this land allows you to move a counter from a permanent you control to another permanent. So you can treat Raisona as basically an indestructible counter generator. Every single time you make a counter with Raisona, you can move it to another permanent with Nesting Grounds. So you can move it to the Myojins, who use, as part of their activated ability, they use up an indestructible counter to have a really powerful ability. So you can load up the Myojins with indestructible counters that way. You can just make other things indestructible, like other permanents you want indestructible. It could be like an enchantment that you really want to sit to be around, like, or an artifact or whatever. So you can like make your board indestructible. You can add more indestructibility counters onto her with like proliferate. I don't know what the good proliferate ones are in white and red though. I know there's 2 artifacts that do it, like contagion engine and stuff. But there's ways to add more counters onto her. So I think it's very cute. It's very cute. Is it very strong? No. Is this a really strong commander? Nah, not really. Oh, Navinral's this that would be pretty, as the kids would say, PogChamp. You make Navinral's Disc indestructible, and then every single turn you can pay 1 and tap it to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. That's pretty evil. That is pretty evil. Can Nesting Grounds put a counter on itself? I think so. I think it says permanent, right? Move a counter from target permanent you control to another target. Yeah, so it can put it on itself. World Slayer doesn't need indestructible because it doesn't destroy itself. So yeah, there's a lot of cute little things you can do with Raisona. I like her. I want to do cute things with this commander. So would I play it more than once? I don't know if I play it more than once. Yeah, I would play it more than once. There we go. I convinced myself. I got it. I got there. All right. Satoru Umezawa. I'm super biased on this card because of the alt art. So this alt art is really pretty sweet. I like it. It's really cool. But I gotta give it up to this one. I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. This artwork is from the artist who drew most of the Metal Gear Solid artwork. So this is an easy. I don't even care about what the text says. I'm gonna have a copy of this card for this artwork. It's that simple. Now, as for the card itself, it's a human ninja. It's Demir, and it does 2 things. First, it's a 3-mana 2/4 And it says, whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This ability triggers only once each turn. So it's a little bit of card selection, card advantage, card selection. And then the other ability it has, which is a little bit more exciting, I guess. Each creature card in your hand has ninjutsu 2 and a black and a blue. So 4 mana to give anything in your hand, any creature card in your hand, ninjutsu. So it gives all your creatures ninjutsu, even if they don't regularly have ninjutsu. So obviously, like, people are talking about, I'm gonna ninjutsu in Blightsteel Colossus, yay, or Jinkataxius, like, big creature costs lots of mana. I pay 4 mana, I put it into play. Yes, very good, very scary. I don't really care about that. Personally, it's not for me. I don't play. I guess I just don't play at that high level power level. That is something that I could get away with more than once. I'll do it one time, and also everybody will know what I'm up to, so they'll try their hardest to stop me. I'll do it one time, and I'll be like, all right, that's fine. Me personally, I just kind of like that. This is like, if you ignore the whole Blightsteel stuff, like, you could just run this as a fair Eureka. If you really want to play if you want to play Ninja Tribal, you used to only have Eureka as your commander. But the problem with Eureka, you see, is that even a casual Eureka deck is still just going to destroy the table. Just like, it's such an oppressively powerful commander. Even if you play her weak, you're like, I'm just playing every single ninja. I'm playing every single ninja in my colors, you guys. It's totally fine. The problem is that Eureka is just so powerful, so cheap, and so resilient to removal that you're just gonna win. If you're at a mid-power table, if you want to play at a janky table, and you just want to play ninjas, and you play Eureka as your commander, it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out the way the table would like it to work out. So that's the problem with Eureka. Satoru is an interesting option for people who actually want to play Ninja Tribal and want to play just all the ninjas. You got to be in the mirror, right? You got to be in the mirror because ninjas are in black and in blue. So that's what you got to be in. And then you want something that cares about ninjas, obviously. So boom, that's what Satoru does. Where basically you're focusing mostly on this part, the first part where you're generating card advantage in a very fair way. I mean, it's still very good. Like, you're still generating card advantage on a 3-drop. It's not like bad. But this part you're not using as much. There's some ninjas that have ninjutsu higher than 4, but most of the time you're just caring about this ability, and that's fine. That's fine. And then if you go to a table and you say, hey, I'm running Ninja Tribal, my commander is Satoru Umezawa, and I'm not running any Blightsteels or Jinkataxis or anything, just ninjas, you're going to be left alone because, like, yeah, you're playing a ninja deck. It's fine. Whereas if you're Eureka and you come to me, if you sit down at a table and you're like, I'm playing Ninja Tribal and I'm Eureka, I'm going to still have to try to kill you because I can't stop Eureka. It's very difficult to stop Eureka. And even if you have like a 5-mana 1/1 ninja, you're still going to like hit the table for 5 every single time you're flipping stuff. It's like crazy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Satoru. I like Satoru as casual ninja, and I like the fact that you can play him super powerful. Yeah. Where are you? I'll play him more than once. There we go. All right, moving on. Satsuki, the Living Lore, aka the Sage Commander, or Saga Commander. That's the one, Saga Commander. Eureka demands respect, but I don't think she's oppressive. Oh boy. I don't think I've ever played against a Eureka that wasn't oppressive. I'm sorry. Maybe I've seen all the wrong ones. Maybe there's a casual Eureka deck out there that's just pure non-oppressive, but like a commander that basically circumvents the command tax and costs 2 mana always, forever, for all time. And the combat trigger is like you can lose like 6+ life for each ninja that dealt damage, not just like once each turn. It's for each one that dealt the damage. it's not it's too much too much for janky tables. No. A higher power table is fine. You can make a one, but yeah, Yuriko. I've never seen one. I've never seen a Yuriko sit down at like a low power table and be like, I'm playing just all the ninjas, and it's fine. And it's not like you either have to destroy the Yuriko or the Yuriko wins. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, Satsuki, the Living Lore. Selesnya, 2-drop, green, white, 1/3, legendary creature, human druid. You can tap Satsuki to put a lore counter on each saga you control, activate only as a sorcery. So you get to basically advance your sagas an extra turn each time, all of them at the same time, which is really cool. And then when it dies, you choose up to 1. You can return target saga or enchantment creature you control to its owner's hand, or you can return saga card from your graveyard to your hand. I think both of these options are pretty sweet. It's a very powerful commander that does powerful things for 2 mana, so it's super efficient at what it does. It's advancing your saga, so you're getting your value out of your saga super fast. And when it dies, you can, return a saga to your graveyard to hand, so it's card advantage, or it lets you repeat sagas. All good things. It is still tied to sagas though, and it's only 2 colors, so you're not like running 5 color sagas or something like that. So its power ability is curbed by the fact that you're only focusing on 2 colors and you're only focusing on sagas. Your camera is phasing. Oh, it's super bright outside. I can't really do anything. I have all my curtains closed. So it's just super bright. That's just how it is. Sorry, folks. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Like there's sunlight directly onto the camera, so I can move it a little bit. There we go. But then I'm gonna have to move it again because like there's a sunbeam that is going directly where the camera should be, and it's gonna be moving eventually onto the camera again. So we'll see. Anyway, Satsuki's cool. It's pretty much it builds itself, but that's not in a bad way. You're just gonna be focusing on a bunch of sagas, and you're gonna be in green and white, and you're gonna have some enchantress, sub themes going on because all sagas are enchantments. So, I'm happy with it. I'm super happy. Like if you show up with Satsuki and you don't have Sithis in your command zone, like oh my goodness, you're the best. I'm so tired of Sithis. So tired of Sithis. So Satsuki's a breath of fresh air. I approve. You bring out Satsuki. I give you a high five. High five for playing Satsuki. Thank you for not playing Sithis. You did your part. All right, moving on. Shigeki Jukai Visionary. This is a 2-mana legendary enchantment creature, Snake Druid. I like those things. 1/3, and it has a channel ability, which you're not going to really use that much if it's in the command zone, but if it's in the 99, you get to use it a little bit more, and it has cool art here as well. So channel ability, XX double green. You discard it, return X target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand. So it's like a giant regrowth, but it's going to cost a lot of mana. So the first card you get will cost 4 mana, and then the second card you want is going to be 6 mana, and so on and so forth. But if it's in the command zone, you can't discard it for its channel ability. But you can use its other ability where you pay 2 and you tap it to return it to its owner's hand. Oh wait, you can return it to its owner's hand. Sorry, yeah, that's fine. I didn't read the rest of the card. Maybe reading the card in order is good. I'll read the card in order next time. So 2, 1 in green, tap it, return it to its owner's hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest into your graveyard. So 2 mana, you tap it, you possibly ramp. Possibly. Not guaranteed, but it's really good if you have like Sylvan Library and Senses Divining Top and other like Miri's Guile and stuff like that. So repeatable ramp. and then you can channel it to return stuff to your hand, and they kind of feed into each other because you return it to your hand, and then you can use a channel ability, or you can recast it, whichever you feel like doing. I don't know. It's fine. it's just I guess you generate lands, which is great. I guess it's an enchantment. That's it's a snake. It's a druid. I don't know. Nothing inspiring here. Whenever I see a mono green card that says something about lands, my brain just kind of like glazes over. My eyes glaze over, and I just tune out a little bit. Maybe I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer, and I'm tired of green and ramping. Doesn't excite me personally. There's nothing wrong with the card. The card is sweet, I guess. Maybe I'd play it once. I'll play it once. I'll put it in the play once category. So it's a green card, ramps. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. At least it balances itself in channels. That's kind of cool. I'm hard on this, but it's not a bad card. It's fine. All right. One of the most busted commanders from the set is a surprising one. This is also from the precon. It's not the face card, but it's from the 99, and it's busted. It's broken. Shurikai Genesis Engine. It's a 4 mana Azorius legendary artifact vehicle. It's not a creature, but it has a special clause that allows it to be your commander. So that's why we're talking about it here as a commander. It's 4 mana, 2 white and a blue for an 8/8 legendary artifact vehicle. It has crew 8, so that's a lot to crew, but it has ways around it. You see, it has an ability. You pay 1 and you tap it to draw 2 cards, then discard a card. You create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. So this 1/1 can basically count as a 3 power creature when it comes to crewing. So if you have 3 of these pilots, you can crew this crew 8. The thing with this card though is you don't really care about the crew ability. Doesn't really matter. Honestly, if the crew ability was not here, this card would still be busted because it's all about this activated ability, baby. It's actually better that it doesn't, like, this crew thing is so useless that the fact that it's not a creature is what actually makes it so insane. Well, I mean, being able to turn into a creature does make it even more busted. But there are things that you can do with this that it doesn't matter. So just by itself, this 4 mana card in your command zone doesn't die to creature removal. It only dies to artifact removal by itself, right? Because it's not usually a creature. So it enters the battlefield as an artifact, so you can immediately activate its ability, pay 1, and you like super dilute, right? Like you draw 2, you discard 1. I don't know the term of that, but draw 2, discard 1, and you make a token. So if you do anything like, I don't know, Isochron Scepter combos, now in your command zone you just have. So dramatic reversals combo is essentially with dramatic reversal imprinted onto Isochron Scepter, and at least what was it, 2 mana worth of stuff plus I guess a 3rd mana. You can go infinite. You can untap your stuff infinite times. Now, what do you do when you can untap your stuff infinite times? You usually make infinite mana. But what do you do from there? You just freaking, whoa, I have Shurikai in my command zone. I'm just gonna draw my entire deck and play whatever I want. So that's pretty cool. The fact that it's not even a creature, so that's great. So you can't, even the way of interacting with that is not super fun. And then of course there's also like intruder alarm, as people have mentioned. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you untap all creatures. So you get to the point where you can crew up Shurikai. So up until that point, it's just looting. It's getting insane value, and it's making tokens, right? Eventually, you'll get to a point where you have like mana dorks or whatever, like Mir. There's a bunch of Mir in the tap for mana. Palladium Mirror, Silver Mirror, Plague Mirror. There's other ones too. Not just Mirror, I mean Gold Mirror. But there's other like mana dorks in Azorius. So you get to the point where you have a bunch of you have at least one dork, possibly two mana dorks onto the battlefield, and you have enough to crew Shurikai. So you play Intruder Alarm, assuming that resolves. You crew Shurikai, you activate its ability to draw 2, discard 1, and you put a 1/1 creature token on the battlefield. When the creature token enters the battlefield, you get to untap all your creatures, including Shurikai and all your mana dorks. So then you just go infinite mana. You have infinite mana, and you draw your entire deck, and you win whatever way you want, basically. Whatever. It all works. It all works. Yeah, you could also replace the mana. You can replace the mana dorks with, like an Astronaut's Altar or a Phyrexian Altar or whatever like that. So this card is busted. This card is absolutely busted. It's kind of like Hinata, where like you have to deal with it, or else the person's probably going to assemble a win. But also, oh no! All right, let's move it again. There we go. Is that better? All right. So my issue with this card is it's kill on sight, but also it's not even a creature. It's just an artifact most of the time. So you can't even it's even harder to interact with. And even when it's not like even when you're not comboing off, you're just uber looting, super looting. Ah, man. I'm not a fan. I just think it's too strong. I think it's too strong. It's cool also that you're doing Azorius Reanimator. I'm also just throwing it out there. Also quite salty that I just built a Neombi deck. All right, look at Neombi compared to what we just looked at before. Neombi 2 mana, white Azorius. Hey, Azorius, we're back on the Azorius plan. 2 mana instead of 4. All right, pretty good. It's a creature, so it can die. All right, not as great. That's flash. That's good. All right, let's compare its looting ability. Pay instead of paying 1 mana, you pay 3, and instead of drawing 2 then discarding, you have to discard first and then draw. And it has to be a legendary card. It has to be a legendary card as well. It has to be legendary. Like the pinnacle of fair magic is Neombi. The pinnacle. 3 mana, you have to discard first, and it has to be a legendary. Because it can't be just anything. It has to be legendary. And it's a creature, so you can actually shut it off if you really need to. But then look at Shurikai, it's just like, nah. I'm not even a creature when I don't want to be. I'm just gonna super loot, scoot. Oh boy. And it makes a token. Man, what a 2022 magic. I think this card's gonna be pretty oppressive. It's gonna be just as oppressive as Hinata. I'm gonna play it once though. But what more is there to say? This card's broken. It's busted. Busted beans. All right, we'll move on. The salt scale has one too high. All right, we'll move to Moonfolk. I like Moonfolk. Moonfolk are nice and fair magic. Tamashi, Reality Architect, Moonfolk Wizard, 2 and a blue, 2/3. It's Azorius because it has an activated ability that costs white. It doesn't have flying. I don't understand the lack of flying on the Moonfolk. Somebody who's lore-wise, tell me why they no longer fly. I don't understand. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to hand, draw a card, and this ability triggers only once each turn. Fantastic. It's a throwback to the old Moonfolk, which were terrible and required you to return your lands to your hand to do anything. So this one at least draws you a card. That's cool. I like the backwards compatibility there. And then you have access to white because now Moonfolk are a little bit in white. X and white. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So straight up reanimation. It costs a lot of mana. You're paying the full mana value of the reanimation target. You're not cheating on it, but you're still putting it from the graveyard directly onto the battlefield. You're losing a land from it as well, but you're also drawing a card when this happens, at least if the first time it happens. I think that's pretty good. It's very fair magic. If only all commanders were fair magic. This is A+ for fairness. I like it. I think it's a cool design. I would play Moonfolk Tribal or something under it. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. It's a very fair magic. Nothing busted here. Just good value. Nice aggressive cost. It's a creature, so it dies to creature removal. Keeping it fair. Yeah, you could Jewel Lotus it. That'd be kind of funny. Jewel Lotus it, then pay 1 and return a land and draw a card to get the Jewel Lotus back. That's not very good. It's fine. It's a fair card. It's a fair card. Oh, Shurikai. So tilted. My Niambi cries. I just bought it. It's fine though. I'd play this more than once. It's fine. All right. Tatsunari, the Toad Rider. I like the concept of this. I don't even know what the text is, but I like the concept. The ninja that rides a toad. That's cool. Wow, that is some artwork. That is art. There's definitely colors and stuff happening here. What is going on? Oh man, this is like when the acid kicks in, and this is what happens. Oh boy. All right. So this is a Sultai commander because it has an activated ability that's hybrid green/blue. 2 and a black, 3/3 human ninja. No ninjutsu on it or anything. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control a creature named Kaimi, create Kaimi, a legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature token with whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's a lot of text. Okay. So you cast an enchantment spell. If you don't have Kaimi, you make Kaimi. And then whenever you cast subsequent enchantment spells, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay. And then you get paid 1 and a green/blue to give Tatsunari and the frog, or target frog, even better. You control, can't be blocked this turn. Except by creature with flying or reach. Okay. How do we break this? How do we cast enchantments infinite times in Sultai? We need to cast enchantments infinite times in Sultai, and then we break it. Blood Funnel? Blood Funnel. Search for Blood Funnel. Alright, I'm searching for Blood Funnel. This is a card that I played in, what was that artifact? Mishra. I played Blood Funnel in Mishra. Isn't this one, like, non-creature spells you play cost 2 less to play. Or non-creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, counter that spell unless you sacrifice it. Okay. But then... Oh, unless you sacrifice a creature. Alright, is there any enchantments costs 2 colorless? For every cast, you create the toad. Yeah. Okay. There's no enchantment that's colorless, right? Because you have to cast it. Rancor. But Rancor is not going to be free. I don't get it. Okay, so Rancor costs green, right? You're going to sack the toad. Yeah. Provide 2 extra mana when you tap a land. So this is just an infinite combo tier list? No, I'm just trying to figure out what's cool to do. Because, like, okay, you're Sultai Enchantress. What does that mean? If you're Sultai Enchantress, what's exciting about Tatsunari that another Enchantress deck can't do? I guess you're in black or you're in Sultai, but nah, that's not really exciting for me. So I'm trying to figure out like what's the appeal? What's going to get me to play this commander? And I mean, making a frog companion and riding to battle with frogs. I mean, it's cool, but I just wanna know what's the dealio? You know, what are the signature cards of this deck? Grave Pact effects. That's cool. Phyrexian Altar Blood Funnel. Oh, okay. I like Blood Funnel a lot. Blood Funnel is a very sweet card. I honestly never saw Blood Funnel played outside of Mishra. So, this is cool. I like it. Mishra's a cool deck as well, but can make this a Voltron Enchantress commander. I could see it. I don't know. I like it. I don't know about this art. I feel like I like that they went out and tried something different, but it really feels like it's a acid trip gone horribly wrong. I don't know which one I like more. I will give this one credit for really going all out. Yu-Gi-Oh art. Is it Yu-Gi-Oh art? Is this a Yu-Gi-Oh artist? I would believe you if you said yes. It's a cool commander. I don't know what exactly I would do with it. Sultai Enchantress is kind of cool. Most Enchantress decks aren't in black. So that's neat. Search for Whip Silk. Oh, I know Whip Silk. You pay green and you return it back to hand, but that's you still have to pay double green, right? You have to pay green to cast it, and then pay another green to return it back to hand, and then pay green to cast it. So it's 2 mana for each trigger essentially to make your toady and drain people, which is good, but you know, I was wondering if there was like any other stuff. All right, the reality. Oh, I have to put them on the list. I play it once. I'll play it once. That's fine. All right, the reality chip. All right, so this one's a busted one. It's a future sight in the command zone. So the reality chip is a legendary artifact creature, equipment jellyfish. There's a lot of that line of text is doing a lot of lifting. They had to really lower the font on that one. But that's a cool. That is definitely a eye-popping amount of types. So the reality chip says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as it's attached to a creature, though, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library, much like a future sight. And as reconfigure 3, so 2 and a blue, so you can attach it to target creature. It becomes just an artifact or just an equipment, not a creature anymore. So the thing you do with this is you do like a Helm of Awakening or whatever. Is it Helm of Awakening? There's like Helm of Awakening, but there's also like better ones. Basically, spells cost 1 less to cast, or there's ones that are like artifact spells cost 1 less to cast. Then you get your Sensei's Divining Top. You know, you basically get to a point where you get a cost reducer to make Sensei's Divining Top cost 0 to cast. Then you activate Sensei's Divining Top to draw a card and put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. The reality chip says that you can play cards off the top of your library, so you cast a Sensei's Divining Top off the top of your library for free, and then you draw a card off Sensei's Divining Top and you put it back on top of your library. So you do infinite draw, you draw your entire deck, you also cast Sensei's Divining Top like a bajillion times, and then you just like Aether Flux Reservoir or whatever to Doom Cannon everybody's face off or whatever. I don't really care about that. Again, it's very high power, and that's not really what I'm all about. And it's all like super easy to do. But I mean, it's kind of cool to have neat artwork for it, I guess. Wouldn't be a complete set without some tentacle action. Nice. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you have the reality chip in your command zone, this is probably what you're trying to do with it. Without it, it's still like an interesting bit of, you know, card advantage kind of thing. Isn't it like Elsha of the Infinite? Isn't Elsha of the Infinite also this? Yeah, Elsha, you may place at the top. You may look at the top card if it's a non-creature spells. Yeah. Yeah, so Elsha the Infinite already did this, and it gives you Jeskai colors. Reality Chip is the same thing, costs a little bit less. Maybe it's a little bit less vulnerable to removal, maybe? I don't know. But it's in mono blue, but you don't really need other colors for this to happen. I feel like it's gonna see as much play as Elsha, right? Like Elsha, I think I saw a bunch of Elsha decks as soon as Elsha came out, and they were all just, the Future Sight combo decks. And then, what was it? 2 years later, I don't see them anymore because that's all they do. They do the thing, and then you're like, all right, you did the thing. And the Reality Chip is going to be much the same thing. I like that it's a jellyfish, though. I give it respect for being a jellyfish. I like that. This is the type of commander I will do its thing one time. I will do its thing one time, and that's it. Then I'm good. That's what this category is. I will play it once, and then I'm good. All right. Last, but certainly not least, the goodest boy of all time, Yoshimaru, ever faithful, to end the stream. Yoshimaru Ever Faithful is the goodest boy in all the multiverse. It is a 1-drop legendary creature dock. It costs 1 white for a 1/1. And whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on Yoshimaru Ever Faithful. And it has partners, so you can always partner him up with his little doggy friends. Little doggy friends. Oh, what a good boy. First of all, what a good boy. Second of all, this card not only is a good boy, it's actually like a really strong commander. You would think I'm memeing. You would think I'm memeing that he's one of the strongest commanders in the entire set after I just like complained for a good long time about how much I hate the Azorius commander. But no, this is actually legit. Like, this will actually will kill you many times, and you're gonna be like, damn it, Yoshimaru is showing up again. It's like Timno the Weaver or something. I'm like, gah. But no, it's actually well, you'll be like, aw, it's such a good boy, but I'm also getting destroyed. So monsters. So what do you do, Yoshimaru? Yoshimaru obviously wants to grow really big and strong, right? So he needs to go on lots of walks and see a lot of legendary permanents enter the battlefield. It makes sense. What else did Yoshimaru do? I mean, he's partners, so that means starting the 95% of legend. This is true. Here's a way to if you're new to commander or you're new to partner in terms of like card analysis. If the card has the word partner on it, and so if the card has the word partner on it, it's already better than 90% of all commanders out there. Then, if the partner has costs less than like 4 mana, 9 times out of 10, it's also super busted. It's like in the top 10% of best commanders. That's how it goes. Anyway, so what do you do with Yoshimaru? Who's going to be the partner for the best boy? So if you're a monster, you're going to. This was not Tezero. What was it? Tevish 5. If you're a monster and you want to be the arch enemy at the table, you can partner Yoshimaru with Tevish Vat. Tevish Vat has the ability that says you may sacrifice another creature or a planeswalker. If you do, you draw 2 cards and you draw another card if you sacrifice permanent was a commander. So you could, in theory, partner Tevish Vat with Yoshimaru to do a white ancestral recall. Again, but as a community, I think we can all agree that if you show up at the table and show that your commanders are Yoshimaru and Tevish Vat, I think we as a community have agreed that you are the arch enemy at the table, right? Like that's what it is, right? That's just the reality of life. You must be stopped, right? That's it. that's basically where we got. However, what I want to do, there's a couple things you want to do, but what I want to do is I want to partner Yoshimaru with a partner that has blue, access to blue. Ideally, it's probably going to be Thrasios because I just want the colors. Thrasios is a partner, busted partner cares about Simic, gives you access to blue and green. So one thing I did, I did a short on this on the channel. You can find it. I think I posted it last week. Basically, you have a convoluted blue little Trickerino. So flavor win. Yoshimaru's on Kamigawa. Oboro Palace of Clouds is in Kamigawa. So you can take Yoshimaru actually for infinite walks. The way you do this is you play Oboro Palace in the Clouds, and that is going to put a +1/+1 counter on Yoshimaru because it's a legendary permanent entering the battlefield. And what that's going to do, you see, is it's going to let you tap Oboro immediately for blue, and then use that blue mana to return it back to hand. So now you've played Oboro, you tapped it for mana, you've returned it back to hand with its same mana ability. Then you use Walking Atlas. There we go. Walking Atlas to put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So you tap a Walking Atlas, you put Oboro back onto the battlefield. This triggers Yoshimaru, but it's also going to trigger a landfall ability, Retreat to Coral Helm, which says whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may tap or untap target creatures. So we're going to untap Walking Atlas. When Oboro enters the battlefield, we're going to use Oboro's ability to bounce it back to hand, and we're going to repeat this process infinite times. So now Yoshimaru is infinitely large, and the good boy gets to one-shot opponents. So that's something you can do with any blue partner. It's a little bit easier in Thrasios decks particular because green gives you more ways of finding Oboro, and also there's a lot more variants of Walking Atlas in green, like Sakura Tribal Scout does the exact same thing. So that's one way you can win with Yoshimaru. The other way that I really like, and I think this is my favorite way actually, is Rogue Rock. Yeah, whatever. Rogue Rock, Son of Rogot. So now you have two partners. One costs 0 mana, one costs 1 mana. You're in Boros, and what you do, you see, again, this is a legendary creature, so when it enters the battlefield, Yoshimaru gets bigger. Use a little trick here called Cloudstone Curio. Cloudstone Curio says whenever a non-artifact permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you may return another permanent you control that shares a permanent type with its owner's hand. So the way this works, this little combo works, is Rogue Rock enters the battlefield, and we need another kobold on the battlefield. There's 3 of them. We need either Crimson Kobolds, Crookshank Kobolds, or Kobolds of Keep on the battlefield. So Rogue Rock enters the battlefield. Cloudstone Curio lets us return another creature, non-artifact creature. That's the important part. Non-artifact creature back to our hand. It's going to be one of these 3. So one of these 3 enter the battlefield, go back to our hand. Then we cast that other kobold for free, returning Rogue Rock to hand. And we just do that back and forth, back and forth. Yoshimaru gets infinitely large. And then you can just one-shot people with Yoshimaru. You probably want to take extra combat steps with Yoshimaru so you can one-shot everybody. If you're a monster, again, if you want to be archenemy for the rest of the game, you can fling Yoshimaru and kill someone that way, sacrificing the dog in the process. But again, nobody would do that, so you should not even think about this card. Even better than fling though is probably like Kazul's Fury, because then it's a land too, so it's an MDFC, so it's even better. But again, you don't do that, right? You just don't do that, and that's just something that you don't do. I just threw it. I just mentioned it for no reason. Chandra's Ignition, yeah, that's good too. Yeah, so yeah, I know. Those are things you can do. Yeah. So, of all these commanders, the only one I would say I would absolutely like. This is the tip of the top. It's Yoshimaru. Top. I would add it to my collection. Yoshimaru, Rogue Rock, fun times. Fun times. This is fun for the family. Fun for the whole family. Yeah, and obviously, like if anybody kills your dog, then you have to take them out. You have to go John Wick on them. So that's it. We got there. 45 commanders. Almost 3 hours of streaming. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed my very objective power ranking scale. That's what this is. Definitely objective and power ranking scale. And if you disagree, you're wrong. But you should leave a comment in the comment section below about why it's wrong and all that stuff, because that boosts engagement. So yeah, just tell me all the reasons why I'm a doo-doo head, or why you shouldn't fling dogs, because I mean that's correct. I would agree with you. Just yeah, like and subscribe if you like that sort of stuff too. That's all I got, friends. I still have a lot of editing to do, so I'm going to be running off and doing that after I get some late lunch. Thanks everybody for joining on the Wednesday stream. Next week we're going to be doing a Commander gameplay on Magic Online as per usual, and we have a lot of Kamigawa stuff coming up soon. And my voice is gone, so I need to end this stream. I'm sorry. I'm hungry and I'm tired. All right, bye everybody. See ya.